Okay, everyone, we're about 20 minutes away from blast off, but before that, I would like you to welcome a very special guest. Please welcome the one, the only, Vinny the Viking.
Between Yorkshire Vikings and rivals Lancashire Lightning on Wednesday the 8th of June. To purchase your tickets, please visit yorkshireccc.com/tickets. And this is also a reminder to members and T20 season ticket holders that seats are allocated for this fixture. Therefore, you will be required to reserve your seat Please visit the ticket office on St Michael's Lane to reserve your seats, or call 0344 504 3099, weekdays 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Also remember, Headingley will host the third test match between England and New Zealand next month, followed by the one-day international between England and South Africa in July. Tickets are available for days 1 and 4 of the test match, with premium packages and seats available across all days, including the one-day international. For more information on this, please visit yorkshireccc.com. And now the team lineups for today's Vitality Blast Northern match. For Worcestershire Rapids, the starting 11 are Ed Pollock, Brett D'Oliveira, Jack Haynes, Jake Libby, Ben Cox, Ed Barnard, Gareth Roderick, Josh Baker, Pat Brown, Dylan Pennington and Charlie Morrell. And now your Yorkshire Vikings starting 11, Adam Lyth, David Milan, Tom Kohler-Cadmore, Joe Root, Harry Brook, Shadab Khan, Jordan Thompson, Matthew Revis, Dom Bess, Adil Rashid, Harris Ralph, We stand against all forms of discrimination and there is no place for it in our sport. We will embrace and celebrate differences everywhere, knowing that with diversity we are stronger. We're dedicated to raising the game. If you witness it, challenge it, call it out. Here at Headingley you can report any form of antisocial behaviour by texting the word respect to 60650.
They're pretty much navy there with light blue helmets on, and the two men who were out there to kick things off with the bat for them. Ed Pollock is going to be taking strike, I think, and Brett D'Oliveira. Looks like Harris Ralph is going to be bowling from the Howard stand end. and the atmosphere building, and good to see you again. Katie Levick is back with us. A zillion wickets for Yorkshire over the years. 5 for again for the Diamonds last week. Couldn't manage to force a win in that one. Can Yorkshire force one tonight?
Yeah, you'd certainly like to think so. Graham's already talked about the team on offer here, and it's exactly what Yorkshire fans have wanted over the years. We've had a fantastic showing in international fixtures, and we don't rarely get to see them here at Headingley ourselves, so we'd certainly be hoping for a strong start to this campaign with the team we've got on offer.
And just talking about, and as one of them yourself, as a tweaker yourself, I mean, it must be great to see a team packed, a Yorkshire team packed with them in the fellas' side of the game as well.
Yeah, so excited to see this. 3 genuine frontline spinners at a Headingley pitch that usually is not all that friendly for a spinner, so let's get going.
Harris Ralph then, first ball of the evening, bowling to the left-handed Ed Pollock, who cuts that one away to point. And no run to start things off, but of course power play overs, these first half dozen. The field is packed inside the circle. Tom Kohler-Cadmore keeping wicket for Yorkshire to start this competition. It's the first time we've seen him in first team action this season, and so clearly recovered from that bump on the head that he took earlier during the winter. Short ball here from Ralph, not hugely short, but short enough for Pollock to get that away backward of point, and that's the first run of the night with a 4.
Yeah, I think that's one of the interesting mashups I'm keen to see tonight. It's how Kohler-Cadmore goes with the gloves. It's something he's added to his game over the last couple of years, especially working in the franchises overseas. He saw that there's something there if you're a batter that can keep a bit, and I'm sure Harris Ralph is exactly who we want to be facing first up with the gloves.
Ralph then into bowl to Pollock once again, and that's short of length and dropped backward of point by the Rapids left-hander, fielded by number 49, who's Shadab Khan. If you're not familiar with the number, that's why. That's the one he's picked. And looking forward to seeing what he can produce with the ball as this Worcester innings wears on. Yorkshire, well, the last 4 starts against this opposition, they've won 3 of them. And 2 of those wins have come here at Headingley, won by 12 runs in June of last year. Now Pollock's got underneath this one. Is it going to drop safely? It is in mid-wicket. Harry Brook was round from mid-on to do the fielding, and they've got through for a single. But yeah, first false shot of the night.
Yeah, it's a much better line there from Ralph, tucking him up with that short pace. He allowed him to free his arms earlier on in the over, but he needs to get in a lot closer to that body and try and cause a false shot, and he did there. He's certainly lucky to miss out on a wicket.
So we're going to see D'Oliveira, Brett D'Oliveira, batting for the first time. Glad I called him Brett this time. I think I spent half of a match last year calling him Damien. Good job I didn't
What were you going to say, Basil?
call him Basil, yeah. Ralph, right arm over the wicket, at pace. D'Oliveira just leans back and tries to uppercut that, but misses out. Through to Kohler-Cadmore.
Yeah, if he'd have got anything on that, you'd think that'd have flown away down to the 3rd region. But unfortunately, it's just gone straight through to Kohler-Cadmore.
Brett D'Oliveira, who's not had the greatest record against pace over the years. Struggled particularly against left-armers, but against the right-arm fast bowlers such as Harris Ralph with express pace will find a bit of difficulty, and he's worked that one nicely off the hip down through deep backward square. Don Bess doing the fielding, and they pick up 1, so a tidy enough start with the ball, just that one real loose delivery from Ralph, and Worcester after 1 over, a 6 without loss.
Yeah, I think both teams will be quietly happy with that. Worcester winning the toss and choosing to have a bat will be hoping to put on a good total here, but it's a pitch that's not being played on yet, and it's a new format of the game for this season, so I think it's everyone to see how this plays out and what that is actually a good score.
So we're going to see what D'Oliveira has to offer against the off spin of Dominic Bess.
Dominic Bess.
Yeah, the first of the 3 Yorkshire spinners on display here. So often you do see an off spinner in the power play in this short format of the game, trying to bowl a much more conservative line and get through and over quickly, and not necessarily maybe a wicket taking threat, but keep the runs down.
Best then. Kirkstall Lane end in the Headingley sunshine, and tries to strike this one across the line, tries the slog sweep. First up does Brett D'Oliveira and misses out. His record against off spin, and he's scored 82 off 69, been dismissed on 3 occasions. Again, wouldn't be a strong suit for him. Yorkshire have got the offside packed. A couple of players inside the circle, backward of square, and he tries the forcing shot past the bowler, but tidy stuff from Best the first 2. So D'Oliveira immediately just put under a little bit of pressure here. Decent crowd in, you'd say, Lev. By no means a full house. Here's Bess again over the wicket, and D'Oliveira this time manages to work that one towards the incoming Harry Brook, who's in from long on to do the fielding, and they get a single.
Yeah, decent crowd in, I think, for a Wednesday evening. There's been a lot of talk about ticket sales this year for the Blast so far this week, but I think this is a promising sign that it's still a format that the fans want to get behind. I think we'll see a few more trickle in as the evening goes on, but I reckon there's a good showing here, maybe 7-8,000.
Good atmosphere, no doubt about that. So we have Pollock back on strike. Left-hander now, facing Bess, who goes round the wicket to him. He gets that away backward of square leg, but good bowling to his field. Revis, who's at square leg, round to do the fielding.
I think this is a great luxury Yorkshire haven't had in recent years in the shorter format, being able to use an off-spinner in the power play and not have to worry about also wanting your spinner during those middle overs. We've got 3 at the disposal this evening.
There's Bess again, and he has struck. He has the wicket of the left-handed Ed Pollock. That is out, says the scoreboard. George Hill telling the batsman to get on his way, in a nice little touch with the graphics. But Don Bess has bowled him for 5, and Worcester 7 for 1.
Yeah, interesting shot there from Pollock. Seems to play all around it. Not seen so far there's been that much turn in the pitch. He obviously is just trying to work a single down the ground, but yeah, poor shot selection earlier.
So 7 for 1 in the second over. And we're going to see the introduction then of Jack Haynes, number 17 for Worcestershire Rapids. He's not a player I've seen much of, I've got to say, over the years. But I'm sure Lev will have his entire record written down in front of him.
If there's ever a sentence to throw me under the bus.
Yeah. I'll be asking the boss what we're paying you for afterwards. Jack Haynes, well, what sort of record has he got against off-spin bowling? He's not the best against left armers, I've got to say, but in terms of right armers, yeah, he'd be 29 off 26 and been dismissed twice by off spinners over the years, but he safely negotiates that first delivery from Bess. And 7 for 1 after 2, and Don Bess 1 over, no maidens, 1 for 1. Great start.
Yeah, fantastic start for Bess there. I said he's being probably used not so much as a wicket-taking threat, more probably to try and contain. He's done exactly both of those things. He'll be delighted to be taking part in this game so early on. We see a lineup that includes some absolutely top quality spinners. I'm sure he'll be wondering about his place in the team, let alone getting a ball tonight, but he's done the job first up. He'll be hoping to continue that on later on.
So Ralph is going to continue with this third over then. Harris Ralph, Pakistani international, of course, and he comes. And that's whipped into the leg side then by D'Oliveira. We'll move on to 3 as a result.
That's a good length to the batter there. Just tucking him up. It's just, this format of the game in particular, Ralph just looks extra pace, and like last year with Lockie Ferguson added so much to this team, I think Ralph will do the same, and I think he'll be thankful for the shorter spells he'll be asked to do rather than the things he's been doing in the county champs for the last couple of weeks.
Harris Ralph then in again. That's quick, wide of off stump and cut, and you can tell how quick it was because he just laid his bat on that and he's pinged that for 4 wide of third man. Super shot.
Yeah, third man had absolutely no chance there, despite the batter not having to do all that much. Just guiding it away, but it's a very quick outfield here at Headingley, and that extra pace we just talked about with Ralph doing all the hard work for him really showed so far in these early couple of overs. There's absolutely nothing in it for the bowlers if you're slightly wider in your lengths, in your lines.
Harris Ralph then, who's only bowled this third over in one previous match in his T20 life. And at 1 wicket, he was short of length then. He's been punched skyward really over through long on, and they're coming back for a third here. I tell you what, that was close for a run out attempt and a dive into the far end by Jack Haynes, who had played the shot. Didn't get a good connection on it, did he really? It was all power, wasn't it? It looked like more splice than anything.
Yeah, definitely like it came off the sticker towards the top half of the bat, and interesting to push a third there when he's lucky enough to get that into a gap. I think if a direct hit, it would have been an interesting call for the umpire.
So, Ralph again. What has he got to offer with this delivery? Bowling here to D'Oliveira, and tightens him up. Might have got some bat on it. We'll wait and see if there's any signal from the umpire. The 2 umpires tonight, by the way, Neil Mallender and Russell Warren. But it was off the bat. It might have picked up maybe the thigh pad as well. Single to D'Oliveira, 16 for the loss of 1 wicket. It's not a bad start for the Rapids by any stretch, but Yorkshire will be heartened as well. They've not really got off to a flyer here. Still 2 balls left in the over. Ralph in again, short of length and off the back foot. He plays it out just through backward point there, Haynes. But straight to the fielder. No run. Some of the footwear the lads are wearing, there's a variety of colours. But is that Shadab who fielded that?
Yeah,
it looks like he's got those overshoes on that you get when you go into your local swimming pool, you know, and you've got to walk through the changing rooms or whatever in your trainers.
Like a bin bag for a dog walk.
Yeah, that's that type of thing. Yeah, well.
But they're a good match for the kit.
You would bring it down to base level, Levick. Here's Ralph coming in towards us, and good delivery this as well. Didn't know too much about that, did he, Jack Haynes? He was looking to play it out on the offside, got a thick inside edge. He will get 1 to complete that third over with Worcester on 17 for 1, so 10 from it.
Yeah, not really allowed the batters to look settled yet, not get on top of anyone. The only easy runs they've got so far is when Ralph's line's slightly strayed and they've been able to just free their arms a bit with a bit more freedom, but anything tucked into them and they've looked uncomfortable. I think Yorkshire will be quietly the happier of the 2 so far, 3 overs into this game.
So Don Bess going to bowl over number 4, which will be a first in T20 cricket for him. Doesn't bowl the corresponding over previously, so it's an experiment, isn't it, this, by the Yorkshire coaching staff. Otis Gibson and skipper Joe Root. He's probably full toss, I think, that. If it wasn't, it was very full of length and worked up to long on this time by Haynes for a single. He's on to 8.
Yeah, it just shows, I think, the strength of the Yorkshire bowling attack, that they can just see how it goes. So I think they're having to come in with set plans of who bowls when. You know, Best deserved a second over, I think, after that first one, and see what he can do now. Usually in T20 there's lots of quick changes, but we've seen 2 overs from both openers so far.
Here he comes then, Bess, over the wicket. And that's down the leg side and will be signalled a wide because he's walking away. Here is the ghost, Neil Mallender, to give that signal. And they also get a bye from it. So leg side wide.
Yeah, lucky to get away with that one. He did just play into his sweep shot and there was no one out there at deep square, so I think the wide's the least of his worries.
There's Bess then in. That's levered up in the air, and that's going to go all the way. And in fact, ricochets off the lip on the top deck of the northeast stand. So the first 6 of the evening, and it goes the way of Jack Haynes. He's on to 15, and Worcestershire 26 for 1.
Yeah, wonderful shot over extra there. They're not the easiest of ones to get away, but that just seemed to hang in the air for ages, and you thought at first, has he not quite middled that, but it's sailed away into the top tier.
Best then. What can he do to counteract that? Well, he goes a little straighter this time. There's a potential run out here at the bowler's end because D'Oliveira was much more keen on the single than the striking batsman. And so they're kept to a dot halfway through the fourth. So 26 for 1 as he's worked into the leg side there by Haynes, who'll pick up a single. So to Radio Leeds listeners just joining us here at Headingley, welcome along. Worcester won the toss, are batting first. It's been a pretty good start with the ball by Yorkshire. They've taken the 1 wicket, that of Ed Pollock, who was bowled by Dominic Best for 5. Having faced just a half a dozen deliveries. The score on 7 at that time. So this pair for the second wicket have added a quick fire 20 so far, as D'Oliveira has just flicked this latest Dom Best delivery to Harry Brook at mid-on. There's no run. Just seen the first 6 of the evening in this over. Jack Haynes getting that away over wide, long off, extra cover into the northeast stand. Just one other boundary so far. Now that he's stepping into this next Best delivery and has driven it up to Joe Root, Yorkshire's captain for the night, who fields it but can't prevent the single. So it's the end of the 4th over. 2 overs, no maidens, 1 for 12 for Dominic Best, and Worcestershire 28 for 1 after 4.
Yeah, I think where Best just went a bit wrong there was he didn't have his lines as disciplined in his first over. He really looked like he had a plan to work into the stumps, ball stump to stump, and have their get out shot down through long on. Just strayed a bit wide, offside and leg side in that last over, but 2 overs, 1 for 12 is still a great start for him in the power play. Looks like we're having our first bowling change here. Thompson's to replace Ralph at the Howard stand end.
It's like a Benton Park reunion in here. We've got Ollie Jones sitting alongside from Benton Park School up in Rawdon, doing a bit of work experience with us. Yours truly, and then the man who's got the ball in his hand to start bowling this over, Jordan Thompson, another former inmate of that fine educational establishment. And here he is from the Howard stand end of the ground. Right arm over the wicket, short ball pulled, and that will probably, yes it does, go all the way for 6 out to the east stand side. D'Oliveira had plenty of time to see it. Not the best of starts from JT.
Yeah, a bit of a loose line and length there, not really challenging the batter at all, allowing him to free his arms and pull over the vacant deep mid-wicket area. Thompson will need to get his lines a lot fuller than that to try and challenge these two and make something happen.
Here he comes then. What can he do as a riposte? He's gone short. He's been pulled this time over the infield, over a short fine leg, and that'll be 4 more. So advantage very much Worcestershire in the first couple of deliveries of this Jordan Thompson over.
Yeah, it's interesting if this is Thompson's deliberate plan to bowl short. I think from Ralph himself, his first couple of overs showed that anything that wasn't bang on with a short ball was just a gimme, and Thompson doesn't have the pace that Ralph does, and so far he's given 2 very easy 4s to kickstart this over.
Jordan Thompson's taken 8 wickets in over number 5 in previous T20 matches at 9.6 runs per over. He's bowled this particular over the 5th in 8 matches, so he's been tried and tested and has produced the wickets, but on this occasion he's going for a few runs and he's just been lofted again. This time out towards the boundary at the Howard stand end of the ground. That's gone all the way for 4 more, and so 14 off the first 3.
Yeah, that 4 wasn't as cleanly timed, but again giving him his arms that he can just swing through, and went over extra long off region. And yeah, Thompson's really got to think about something here. He's had a change of field, he's brought up his offside sweeper, and he's got a deep square leg and a deep mid wicket. What can he do?
Here is Thompson, and that's pushed this time by D'Oliveira up to mid-on as an attempt at throwing down the wicket by Joe Root, but they've got through 4-1. Yorkshire's record when playing night matches like this, 53% win ratio, 47% defeats. Worcestershire, well, they're 50-50 over the years, so not a lot in it.
Now I know how the fixture between these two went here last year. It seemed to be all over for Yorkshire until a brilliant partnership.
Slower ball this time from Jordan Thompson. That's effective because they've just pushed it for the single. So starting to drag things back, but it was a difficult start for him. 15 off 5 so far. Maybe they're just, you know, they're like a cup of hot milk and get themselves off to bed early on a night sometimes, and maybe the 50% win ratio. I don't know.
Can't blame them.
You professionals. Here's Thompson. Oh, that's a big hit this time by D'Oliveira, and has gone all the way into the black sight screen at the Howard Stand end of the ground. So an expensive 5th over this time by Jordan Thompson, and no wickets in it for a change. He's gone for 21. In fact, no, he hasn't. He's gone for 22, and it's 50 for 1 now. Worcester, who had a slowish start, but are really picking things up.
Yeah, I think that over's just swung the power play over into Worcester's favour so far. Thompson won't be happy with that start. Can't imagine he'll be coming back on straight away, and he'll have a lot to think about the next time he gets to throw the ball. But Yorkshire could ideally do with another wicket in this power play. And don't let these two get in T20. You only need a couple, and they certainly had some sighters in that last over.
So 10 and over so far off the first 5, and that's going to hurt Yorkshire if they end up getting that 200.
Speaking of having plenty of spin options, we've got a change, and Joe Root is on.
And he has also been hammered back over long off in the first ball of his over. So the seam experiment at one end not particularly working, and the spin experiment at this end to start with here, not the best either.
Yeah, Root will be trying to get out of this power play. Ball stump to stump probably be the plan, and didn't go to plan the first ball.
And it's straight down the leg side. It has been hit. If he'd have left that, would have got a wide out of it, but he's picked up the same number of runs with a single to Revis, who's coming in to field that mid-wicket. So D'Oliveira onto 26 and Haynes 24. Partnership is now worth 50 with that single at 57 for 1. Root has gone full bunger down the leg side. That's going to be a wide, inevitably. And is given.
Yeah, his line's just straying to leg side. He's got a deep mid-wicket and a long on, but that could have easily been plucked off to square.
It is a short boundary out to the east side of the ground, and now we've seen another one struck, this time by Haynes. And when you've got the power of these players, it's a pretty small boundary out that side. It's going to be the same for both sides, of course. But all you've got to do there is to have the power to get it over the infield, and it will easily carry the boundary, as it did. So 4 more. Root gone for 13 off 3 so far, and now he's swept by Haynes. And Ralph is firing that one into the gloves of TKC, but they're through for 1 more.
Yeah, Root decided to come round the wicket for that ball, and I think it was a better plan. His lines haven't been all that consistent coming over, and he needed to try something different because the batters are making it look quite easy at the moment.
So Root, as Katie says, round the wicket. Same result here, and that's a beautiful shot, glorious shot by Brett D'Oliveira. Just stepped into it, and effortless lift over the top of long off for 6 more.
Wow, that was just looked so easy, effortlessly flown all the way into the stands for 6.
Root round the wicket again, and it tries the same again, and he's gone this time. He's been caught backward of point. Shadab, I think, is the man who's done the catching. We'll get that confirmed. But that is the end of D'Oliveira. And having started pretty slowly, he's made a big impression in recent overs and gone for 32, 70 for 2.
Yeah, as is so often the case, they'll be disappointed there that he's got out. He'd already done the hard work all that over. He'd already hit Root for 20 off 5 balls. Did he need to go again? But they obviously thought we'll try and target the part-time spinner, and it's not quite come off for him there. But I think still Worcester will be happy with that power play. 70 for 2. We've got off to a flyer after being relatively restricted in the first 2 by Bess and Ralph. And the incoming batter will be happy to be coming in on a nice little platform of 70 for 2.
So Jake Libby, formerly of course with Nottinghamshire, is the new man in the middle, wearing number 2 on his back. And that was the end of the power play then. Wicket off the last ball of it. And 70 for 2 represents, in the end, you'd say, a very satisfactory start for the visiting side. The field can now disperse, and here we have him for the first time in Yorkshire colours, Shadab Khan.
Yes,
let's see what he can produce.
Yorkshire fans will be eager to watch him, and we need him to produce the same results he was doing in the Pakistan Super League earlier in the year, as Worcester are just on top here.
So over number 7, which has been a very productive over for Shadab Khan over the years. 54 wickets he's taken when bowling this particular over in a match, and he's bowled over number 7 on 54 occasions. See how he goes here. He's just been turned out for 1 by Haynes through point. He's got a man dispatched on the cover boundary, long on and long off are out. There's also cow corner and deep backward square out, and then 3 men inside the ring on the offside for Libby, who pushes it out to Jordan Thompson, who's coming in from that cover boundary, and they get a 1. Harris Ralph is the only other man inside the circle. He's at short fine leg. So 72 for 2. Yorkshire trying here to stop the rot with spin. And Shadab is in again, and that's a little dab off the bat of Jack Haynes, down to short third man. Rashid doing the fielding. They've got 1 more, and they'll be happy at 6 and over if they can keep them to that. Having gone at what they've gone at so far.
You'd think they'd be trying to strangle the game now in the middle overs with the spin options we've got.
Here's Shadab again, and it gives that a bit of a rip. It's turned into the onside this time by Libby, who's picked up a single to the advancing Matthew Revis.
Yeah, a well-timed wicket just before Shadab came on, just allows him to get into his spell with a new batter on strike who's not playing maybe the shots that D'Oliveira was.
Here he comes again, right arm over the wicket. An attempted sweep that's missed this time. There's an appeal for LBW. Looked a little bit off stumpish from where we were, or maybe outside, but hard to tell from the angle that we're at. We're a few strips away to the right as we look at the ground from the Kirkstall Lane end.
As a leg spinner, I went up there purely for the shot. Whenever you see someone go down on one leg for the sweep, you're going up.
Oh, this thing about you give it out for the shot. 75 for 2, and Shadab in again, and that's cut out into the deep on the offside where Thompson fields. Jake Libby picking up another single, but a good start by Shadab Khan, then 1 over for 5, and that's helped to redress the balance slightly.
Yeah, very tidy over there from Shadab. He'll be happy that his first over in the Yorkshire colours has gone to plan. It looked like he was bowling to his field nicely there, and they could only pick up the singles. To see leg spin from both ends is going to be a thrill for these Yorkshire fans, as we've got Adil Rashid coming on. It's not all that often we get to see him in the Yorkshire colours, and even rarer to see him bowling end-to-end with another leg spinner. So Yorkshire will be really relying on these 2 experienced bowlers to pull them back into the game and try and pick up some wickets.
Yeah, what a player he's been over the years, Adil Rashid, in this form of the game. And he's in for his first delivery, which he's worked out into the offside by Libby for a single.
A surprising loosener there from Rashid. You don't see all that often. Looked like a full toss outside off stump. He's lucky that both batter and keeper went sprawling for it and just played away for 1.
Here he is again, Adil Rashid, ran about leg stump and worked into the onside. They're thinking about 2 here, and that's a good piece of running. Tom Kohler-Cavmore's gone a long way to try and field that, but because the field was set back on the leg side, they've managed to get through for 2. Adil Rashid has bowled the 8th over of a T20 match on 20 occasions and taken 20 wickets at 5.7, so it's been a productive and tight over for him over the years. Here he is again. It's just wide of off stump. It's been lofted out towards long off where Adam Lyth does the fielding, but can't prevent the single. But again, just things been the tempo slightly snuffed. 80 for 2 halfway through the 8th. Rashid in again. Oh, he's got an edge on this one. It's past the gloves of Tom Kohler-Cavmore, and it will therefore go for a boundary because nobody's fine enough to cut it off. And you've got to say, Lev, unlucky.
Yeah, nothing more annoying as a leg spinner to watch a big outside edge fly past the keeper and race away for 4. It's a quick outfield at Headingley, and Rashid would be disappointed.
So Libby waits, and again Rashid's able to just pull it back after the boundary with a dot ball, which is going to help that little bit. Here's Rashid again. Libby working it one out towards Brook, coming in off the long on boundary, and that will complete a reasonably good over. He's gone for more than that average off the over. Adil Rashid gone for 9, but a little bit of ill luck for him as well.
Yeah, I think for a Rashid over, it's uncharacteristically not the most consistent with his lines and length there. He bowled a couple of full tosses. He did find the outside edge, but the world-class spinner you expect, he probably won't be best thrilled with himself with that over, but he'll be happy to come away with only 8 after it, 9 after it, apologies.
So Shadab Khan, 1 over for 5 so far, continues at the Howard stand end. He's been worked into the leg side by Libby. They're going to try and take him on for a second again here, and Revis was under pressure to get that in quickly and didn't make a clean pickup, so they got back for 2.
Yeah, very good running so far from this pair. They've been able to pick up those 2s in the pocket very well, and they're so frustrating for a field inside when there's nothing you've really done wrong as a bowler and you bowled to your field.
Khan again, and that's driven through a gap in the offside this time by Libby. Jordan Thompson is out there to field, but again they're picking up the 2s, and they could do with a wicket every so often just to chip away here, couldn't they, and have to get somebody else to come in and start. Haynes would be, I guess, key at the moment. He's on 34 now. His partnership already worth 19. Came together, of course, the first ball after the power play, first ball of over number 7. Libby opens the face, runs it out into the covers, where Root turns and fires it in on the bounce to Kohler Cadmore's gloves. They've got 1.
Yeah, I think Yorkshire really needs to try and build up some dot balls here. That's where the pressure builds in the shorter format of the game, and at the moment the Worcester batters are able to just rotate the strike really easily and find the boundary zone required.
Khan again off the back foot. This time it's cut by Haynes. Roots into field, but can't again prevent the single.
Yeah, even when they miss time and they're still managing to pick up runs is Worcester. But Khan is bowling very good. He's bowling great lines and lengths, and he's bowling to his field so far, so he'll be happy with how it's going to start with.
Here's Khan again, worked up to long on this time by Libby. They're only going to get the 1. Lyth coming in to do the fielding. So 92 for 2. Yorkshire lost the last 3 games of last season. Lost against Sussex, of course, I mentioned earlier, that quarter-final up at Durham. Also lost to Lancs and Notts in the last 2 group games, and Worcester lost their last 2 group games of last season against Leicestershire and Warwickshire, or Birmingham Bears. Last ball of the over was a good way to go out of the over, a dot ball, and so 2 pretty tidy overs ready for 12 runs by Shadab Khan.
Yeah, and very well taken, that last ball by Kohler Cadmore. We said he's new behind the stumps, and bowling against world-class leg spinners is probably one of the more difficult jobs for someone coming into the game, but he did well to take that. And another good over from Khan. Not picked up a wicket, but he's kept it very economical, and he's slowed down those boundaries, which Worcester just really started firing in the power play.
Here's Rashid to continue for the over that'll take us towards the halfway stage, and it's a good into the over this time, with Libby not getting it past the infield.
Much better start to the over for Rashid there, finding his lines and bowling into his fielder Root, who's just in there on the 1.
Tended to go for more in this middle over than he has in some others. Adil Rashid over the years, 8.4 runs per over, and he's cut out to the sweeper Revis on the point boundary for a single there. Interestingly, at this venue, the team batting first has won on 72% of occasions. So it's up against Yorkshire in that respect, and it's going to be made worse by a massive 6 into the northeast stand, this time by Jack Haynes, who stepped inside it, given just a little bit of room, only a tiny weeny bit from Adil Rashid, and he's gone for 6.
Yeah, they don't seem to have to be muscling it all that much today. They're timing it beautifully, and that just sailed away for 6.
Rashid again, what report has he got? Well, he bowls him the wrong un, and appreciable turn as well on that from Rashid. It's got away for a single into the offside route doing the fielding. So 100 up after 9 overs and 4 balls. Took them fully 5 overs to get to the 50 mark, so they've speeded up by a couple of deliveries in this second 50. Rashid in again, and another wrong un, which is turned out to Revis in the covers. Keeping him guessing, Adil Rashid.
As he so often does, he is a world-class spinner, and he's not quite found his mark yet today, but I'm sure the Yorkshire fans will be hoping he'll be on it shortly.
Here he is again, and once more, this time starts that off straighter, and it's turned backward of square leg where Harris Ralph fields, well, barring the 6. Wasn't a bad effort, but you've got to include the 6, unfortunately, and it's 2 overs for 19 from Rashid, and at the halfway stage, the Worcestershire Rapids are 102 for 2.
Yeah, the sight of Rashid stood there with both arms, hands on hips, shows that he's not most best pleased with that over, but Yorkshire have got to stick out here and try and build a partnership, try and find that wicket somehow. They've managed to slow down the scoring rate just from that power play when they just got away from them and were quickly at 70 at the end of the power play. But someone needs to find something special here because it does look a very true wicket like it has done so far this season.
Playing like a dream for the batting side at the moment, and here's going to be, is it 6 more? It is. Adam Lyth making his way around the boundary but can't get underneath that, and it clears him out into the old Taverners stand there. So even Shadab now going for a maximum, and that's Jack Haynes who struck the blow.
Yeah, Shadab looked so disappointed there. It looked like it was just going to hang and allow Lyth to come round to it, and it's just cleared him that time.
What has Shadab got as a response? Well, Haynes on 49 tries to just fiddle a little single into the offside but can't get it away. And Haynes, he's not had the best record in the past against spin. He's pulled this one, and he's pulled it for 6. So 2 6s in the over so far, and that one will take Haynes to a very well-earned, you've got to say, half-century. Excellent effort from him. He'll move to 55.
Yeah, he struck it very well so far. I mean, Khan will be extremely disappointed so far. He's essentially bowling to his field. Both 6s have sailed just over the boundary rider, but it's 6s on the board.
This time he gets an inside edge. Shadab, he's not entirely happy with himself, and getting a little bit frustrated because he's gone for 25 now in 2 overs and 4 balls. That was a single. Haynes on to 56, 115 for 2. Half an hour he's been out there. 28 balls now, 5 6s and 2 4s. I'm sure Yorkshire would rather it be the other way around as Libby works that through mid-wicket. In comes Revis to fire it back into the gloves of Kohler Cadmore on the bounce. They get another one. Sun in at the moment, floodlights are on. There's a bit of a breeze. And Shadab is in again. Good delivery, which has the beating of Haynes, who was leaning away to the leg side to try and cut that. Good little take as well from Kohler Cadmore. End of the 11th, 116 for 2.
Yeah, one of those annoying overs for the bowler where you feel like you've done what you wanted to and you bowled well, but you look in the scorebook and you've gone for quite a few. You know, they got those 2 6s and they rotated the strike really well. Khan's figure's probably not doing him justice, but he has bowled well so far and he's looked to be the more consistent of the 2 leg spinners. Be interesting if they give him a 4th straight up or they try and rotate some bowlers. I think maybe Yorkshire have just got a bit too stuck in the bowlers. I think I'd have rotated a bit more. The batters have seemed to have latched onto a bowler and we've given them another opportunity to see them again. We've got loads of options out there, so I think it's good to see Revis coming on now to replace Adil Rashid.
Matthew Revis, yep. Worcestershire, by the way, were given a 28% chance of winning this game on the prediction stakes before it started. That's now improved to 42%. With or against Rev bowling and Lev sitting alongside, it's quite easy to get confused.
I do love the win predictors. I always remember there was a game last year for the Superchargers in the 100 where we had a win percentage predictor of 0% and we went on to win the game. So Worcester probably saw that 28% and thought, okay, game on.
Here's Revis then, who's in and bowling to Libby, who works that to Harry Brook on the leg side and will pick up 1.
Good start from Revis. Attacking the stumps. In at the batter, don't let him have his arms, because at the moment they've been able to play through the line of the ball. The pitch isn't doing all that much, and they can trust the shots with anything that's not attacking the stumps.
Matthew Revis's first over, of course, in T20 cricket, this at senior level.
No stats for you then for him?
Nope. And he's making his own stats here, isn't he? That's pulled, not altogether well pulled, and it's an attempt to run out here. Revis made his way all the way down from the bowler's end to the stumps, and to be fair, and we're sitting end on to this, that looked a really good shout for a run out. I know we're miles away and that might sound like a stupid thing to say, but also the reaction from the Yorkshire fielding contingent. Don Best couldn't believe it coming in from square off the boundary. It must have been tight, given not out by Russell Warren.
A lot of hands on hips from Yorkshire fielders, whether that's the frustration of Worcester batting so well so far, but it did look like a close shout and an interesting 2 when they're going along so nicely.
Here's Revis now lofted out towards mid-wicket. Jordan Thompson, oh, there was a moment where he might have come in and tried to catch that, but he clearly felt like he was probably going to be yorked by the ball and therefore waited for it to bounce, and they pick up 1.
Yeah, they're the ones you don't want when you're out in the deep. Do you chuck a dive in and risk it going through you and looking a bit silly in front of the Western Terrace, or do you just safely allow him to get the 2?
Matthew Revis bowling right arm over, of course. Coming in past umpire Neil Mallender. Short ball and punched square on the leg side. Bess is into field. They're thinking about a second, but he hit it so well that it travelled across the Headingley turf quickly. So can he get out of this over, Matthew Revis? It's been a promising start. He's got a little bit of zip about him. He's got the height. He's just a different option for Yorkshire, as Lev was saying. 5 off 4 from him so far. Can he avoid going for a boundary or 2 in his last couple of deliveries? The field coming on the offside, and he's gone at the leg stump again. It's been punched round to long leg. They're coming back for what should eventually be a comfortable 2, and is to Haynes. 7 off the over.
Yeah, I think that's a good field change from Revis, and you sent the long on back. He's brought up 3rd. Anything outside that off stump that gets the slightest of edge on is racing away anyway, and your 3rd doesn't tend to have much of a chance, so it's much better to try and bowl at him and make him play down the ground.
Now he's got a useful Yorker as well, Matthew Revis. Might he try it? Not with this. He's gone into the pitch, and he's got a wicket. He's got the wicket. Jordan Thompson taking a very comfortable catch, and I think that's Jack Haynes, isn't it, who's gone. So in the context of the contest, that is a big wicket. Haynes caught by Thompson off the bowling of Revis for 61 runs, and Worcestershire Rapids 123 for 3.
Yeah, it's very well bowled from Revis. His first over in T20 cricket for Yorkshire, and he just bowled solidly to his plan. He had that leg side boundary riders all out. Notice they're all quite a few yards off the boundary, because it is a big hit down that side, and you want to try and force them to play over to that bigger boundary. And he executed it wonderfully, and it was a great over from him. He's got the big breakthrough, and Yorkshire will be happy with that change.
So the last ball of over number 12 then, and Revis strikes. So 1 for 7 off a very promising start of an over for him. He'll be lifted by that, and again it just adds further fuel, doesn't it, to the feeling that Yorkshire have found themselves a player here who's going to be able to play multi-formats and do both batting and bowling to a more than acceptable standard.
Yeah, it's following a line of great Yorkshire all-rounders so far. They always looked for someone that could replace Bresnan. You thought you'd found that in Thompson, and now you found another option in Revis. Looks like we've got a change of bowling, and Adil Rashid is coming from the Howard end now to see if his luck is any better.
And Ben Cox, skipper and wicketkeeper, of course, for Worcester, is the new man in, but it's a single first ball of this Rashid over to Jake Libby, who's on to 21, so 124 for 3. Wickets always help just to pull things back a little bit. 3 of them down now. And a world-class bowler with the ball in his hand here. Rashid bowling right arm over the wicket. Looks like a regulation leggy, which is turned backward of square. Ralph misses that. There's been a couple of aberrations in the field from him in red ball cricket, and that was a pretty ordinary piece of fielding, wasn't it? It wasn't travelling at all.
Yeah, it was an interesting flail, and he fully Sydney Harbour bridged it, and lucky he's got another person out there at deep square to tidy it up.
So they got 2. So Cox off the mark and then misses this latest delivery, but it is down the leg side and is therefore signalled wide.
Another good take there from Tom Kohler-Cadmore. He'd been fully obstructed by the batter. Rashid will need to straighten his lines up a bit.
Rashid in and just dropped into the offside this time by Cox, who is prevented from getting the single by Yorkshire skipper Joe Root. Worcester predicted to score 198. That was the prediction after 12 overs. That might have just altered slightly in this last couple of deliveries. So still nigh on 10 and over they're expected to come up with here, and that doesn't look fanciful the way they've gone about things. Just seen a single pushed into the offside by Cox.
Yeah, they've not had to play any risky cricket so far, Worcester. They've been able to run really well between the wickets and then still find the boundaries from them bad balls.
Rashid dropped into the leg side this time by Libby, who will pick up another single. Rashid having to go do the fielding himself. He's got the field largely set back on the leg side, as you might imagine, just inside the circle. Short fine leg is Harris Ralph. And 3 men inside the circle to the offside. Long on and long off are out. There's Jordan Thompson about 5 in from the cover boundary. What will Rashid turn to in his bag of tricks this time? It's a regulation leg spinner, which has just dropped out into the offside, and they've still managed to get through for a single to complete the 13th, but it was better from Adil Rashid. 3 overs for 26 now from him, and it's 130 for 3.
Yeah, much better over from Rashid there, showing that change of end has worked for him. He was just struggling with his lines and lengths from the pavilion end, and should have calm bowled tightly from the top end there, and Rashid's followed him in, so he'll be much happier with how that's gone. He'll be looking to pick up wickets though, because that is what he's in the team for, is a wicket taking threat in these middle overs at international level and at county level.
Revis then, no surprises, after his 1 for 7 off his first over, is going to continue. And he'll be bowling here to Ben Cox, who's got a pretty decent record against right arm fast medium bowlers like Revis, who beats him first ball. Ben Cox scoring at 133.42, been dismissed 22 times. But then again, the many of the bowlers he would have faced would have been of this persuasion. But not a bad record of 519. He scored off 389 prior to that delivery. A good ball this time from Revis, who has the beating of the bat. It wraps him on the pad and balloons into the offside, and they get a leg by from it. So a good start again from Revis.
Yeah, of course, that swing and a miss first ball, and then another fall shot second ball, where he's just trying to work it into that leg side field where you can pick up a couple. It's very deep boundary out there, and it's runs on the offer if you can just get it into the pockets.
Libby, who's could have gone there. It's straight back to Revis, and just one of those reaction, you catch it or you don't, and he couldn't quite reel it in, Matthew Revis, but it was a chance.
Yeah, I think he'll been quite surprised by the shot that Libby played there. It looked like he was trying to pull it into the mid-wicket region, and somehow it's ended up straight back at him. But unfortunately it's not stuck that time, but it's another dot ball, and they're all important as well in this game.
So good first half to the over. What can Revis do to finish things off? Well, he's been driven straight back down, not driven actually, but flat batted straight back down the pitch, with the ball hitting the stumps at the bowler's end, and they're through for a single. So Libby on 23, 132 for 3, and looks quite pleased, I think, to get down the other end.
Not often you're too pleased when you hit the stumps and the umpire, but Yeah, but he's struggled against Revis so far this over, so he'll be happy just to pick something up.
Here's Revis again, still over the wicket. Now he's trying the ramp shot here, and he's tried to get it away beyond Kohler Cadmore, and that is the case. So first boundary of the over. And that's a shame for Matthew Revis. He banged that into the pitch, but he's learning his game, isn't he? Very much so. It's just his second over at, in this form of the game at this level.
Yeah, it's unfortunate from Revis. Cox did go very early there and showed his intention that he was going to try and ramp it over, and it's flying away quickly down that end towards the Howard stand end.
So 136 for 3. Revis in, and that's whipped off his legs this time by Cox, who's going to pick up just the one because he hit it so well. So still, that's a reasonably good over from Revis, just the one boundary within, and you would certainly have taken 1 for 13 from him off 2 overs before the start tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Even the boundary that came off that over was the batter having to get a bit ingenious and try and force something to happen and play that risky shot back over the keeper's head. So you'd certainly be happy to see that as a bowler. You know, it obviously shows you bowl into your plans and they're not able to easily get you away. So far, Worcester haven't had to worry about hitting runs because it's come so freely. So you're still happy to see him trying to manufacture something like that in that last Revis over.
Yeah, so no surprise, Adil Rashid is going to bowl out here. 3 overs for 26 so far. Sun back out, shining brightly at Headingley as Rash is in, and that's turned backward of square where Revis fields. Jordan Cox into double figures now. Partnership now worth 15. 138 for 3. So they've just started to peg it back after that flurry of sixes, in particular by the excellent Jack Haynes. Using his feet this time is Libby, but that's driven into the offside. A couple of yards either side of Joe Root. That would have been 4, but a former England captain diving to his left does a good piece of fielding. It's another invaluable dot for the Vikings, who walk in as Rashid's in again. This one levered out into the offside. Jordan Thompson's loitering, and will keep them to 1 from that sweep. And this would be a real fillip if Rashid could get out with a really tight over to finish off his 4 here and drag it back after a few boundaries earlier on. Here he is again, and a slog sweep attempt this time by Cox against the spin, and he misses.
It's a really, really strong start to this over from Rashid. It's a shorter boundary to the leg side, but he's bowling an offside line to try and force him into that shot and hope that they miscue it with the ball spinning away from him and it gets to one of those boundary riders.
In comes Rashid again. This worked into the yawning gap on the onside. They're thinking about a second, but Adam Lyth is, he might be 34 years of age. You know all about that, being in your 30s now, but he's still pretty rapid across the turf, and he's kept them to 1.
Unfortunately, I know about being 30, but I don't know about being rapid across the turf.
I can't even remember my 30s. 140 for 3. Here's Rashid again, and flat batted out into the offside by Libby. He's hit it too well to get 2, though. Thompson's lickety split across the turf. And that's a good over by Rashid to finish off. 4 overs for 30 for the England man.
A much better over from Rashid there. It showed he had a clear plan as opposed to, I think the first few overs just looked a bit uncharacteristically loose for Rashid. So it is a shorter boundary to the leg side when you're bowling from the Howard stand end. So he realised he had to change his lines. He couldn't bowl as straight as he perhaps is used to, and got to try and force him to play a cross-bat shot. And he showed in that last over when runs weren't as easy to come by as they had been previously.
So going at 7.5 and over for his 4 overs for 30. Jordan Thompson, who bowled over number 5 with limited success, I think you'd have to say. 1 over for 22. He's now been brought back into the attack at the Kirkstall Lane end. In he comes, right arm over the wicket, and Libby walks right across his stumps, and he's appealing, I think, to Mallender for a wide there, but it disappears off.
I'm very glad to see that for the bowler. So often when batters walk around the creases, you get penalised for following them and doing the plan, you know, and it's not his fault. He's exposed his stumps, and Thompson's done well there, I think, still.
Libby on strike, Thompson in, and follows him as well. He steps away to leg. It's wrapped him on the pad. They'll get a leg by, but that's an intelligent piece of bowling by Jordan Thompson. With 5 to go, by the way, the Worcestershire prediction has dropped from 198 to 192.
Well, the run rate has just dropped below 10 for the first time in a while, so Yorkshire are happy to be pegging it back. It's all about momentum in T20, and they're looking to be finishing this innings strongly.
Thompson again, and that's lofted into the onside. Chance here for Harry Brook to take an easy catch in the end. And that is the end of Jordan Cox. Caught Brook, bowled Thompson for 11. Jordan Thompson has now taken 5 wickets when bowling in over number 16 in T20 matches, and he'll be happy about that latest one.
Yeah, catching practice for Brook out there. It's such a big hit over to this side up towards the western terrace, and Thompson's done well in his opening few balls from this end that he's tried to force that shot. It's a hell of a hit to try and clear the boundary, and it was very easy for Brook in the end just to pick up the catch.
So Ben Cox struggling a bit there, 11 off 12 deliveries, 142 for 4, but just a little bit of the momentum is swinging back, I guess, towards Yorkshire at this stage. 19 the partnership put on for that 4th wicket. And so Ed Barnard is the new man for the Rapids, and he can strike a good ball on his day. Jordan Thompson will feel a lot better about life having taken the wicket. Just a sweeper out on the offside, 3 men set back to leg, everybody else inside the circle is on the offside, and well, wouldn't you know it, having taken the wicket, his first ball to Ed Barnard is a leg side wide.
Yeah, shake of the head from Thompson there. He won't be happy with that line. He wants to try and bowl them into the legs and force them to play to that long boundary, but that's just a bit too wayward for him.
Jordan Thompson's got a slightly better record in the middle overs really than he has in the latter part of an innings, but it's okay so far in this over as he's been pushed up to Brook coming in from long on by Barnard to get off the mark with 2, so 145 for 4, 2 left in the 16th.
It shows you just how long that boundary is down towards Brook. Brook stood a good 10 yards from the boundary rope already to start with, and they still managed to come back for an easy 2 there.
Barnard on strike and tries to run this one down just wide of the keeper. Now then, Tom Kohler-Cavmore has conceded a run there by virtue of the fact that he tried to throw down the wickets and well did so. Batsman was back in his crease, the ball skewed off into the outfield, and they've nicked a single that they didn't really need to have.
Yeah, an angry Jordan Thompson there shakes his head. It's a bit probably unnecessary. He was never going to get a run out there, and just relieved a little bit of pressure when it would have been a very well done dot ball. That brings Libby back on strike, who's lofted this one into the offside, and a very comfortable catch once again, this time for Adam Lyth. That Worcester have lost a 5th wicket. Yorkshire now starting to pull this back around, and the Rapids are getting into a little bit of trouble. Yeah, the boundaries are just dried up in the last couple of overs, and it shows by Libby trying to make something happen there. From a ball he probably wouldn't necessarily tried to get over the extra cover region. He's really over the bat at it, and an easy catch again. Great over from Thompson there to pick up 2 wickets. So 25 for Jake Libby, who is out of the last ball of the 16th.
The new batsman for the Worcestershire Rapids, Gareth Roderick.
It'd be nice if they updated the board at this point. There we go. 25 off 27 deliveries is what I was waiting for. 146 for the loss of 5, so just a partnership of 4 for that 5th wicket. And importantly for Jordan Thompson, after going for 21, wasn't it? 22 in his first over. He's bagged 2 wickets and gone for less than half a dozen in his second over. Excellent effort from him, great comeback. Yeah, it just shows a change of end can make all the difference in this format, and Thompson and Rashid both felt like different bowlers when they've had that change of end, and really pulled Yorkshire back into this contest when Worcestershire were free flying. Gareth Roderick, the new batsman, but he's at the non-striking end as Harris Ralph comes back into the attack at the Howard stand end for Yorkshire for over number 17. And that is cut backward of point by Barnard first up. And they get a single.
Two relatively new batters in here, and Root's got Ralph that he can turn to for a bit of express pace and try and see some back of one of them at least and keep that run rate down.
Roderick then, open stance, right-handed, on strike and facing Ralph, who's coming in now past umpire Russell Warren. Short ball, punched back down the pitch. It's hit the stumps again at the non-striker's end, and that's a run out. That's a great effort from Harris Ralph to get back, pick up. The bails had already been disturbed, but he's thrown down the wicket and he's been given out. I thought he had to uproot the stump.
I was
once the
head
bails
in hands thinking, why are you throwing at that end? Thinking you have to have the stump in hand, don't you, at that stage? But batter doesn't seem to be contesting it too much, so maybe there's been a rule change that we're not quite aware of.
Yeah. Well, I may be aware of it, but I've forgotten it. But I've certainly never seen that before. Uproot the stump with ball in hand, touching the stump, or whatever was always the way that we were taught.
I certainly thought that was the way, and that and the fact he was looking at one stump, I thought, what on earth is Ralph throwing at that end for? It's a hell of a risky that can skew off and go for some overthrows, but he brought the wicket, so it's great fielding from him. And just interesting from Worcester what they can do from this stage. They've lost a lot of wickets in quick succession and runs have dried up, and real momentum shift in Yorkshire's favour here.
So Roderick lasting just the one ball run out, 147 for 6 in over number 17, and this partnership worth just the one for the 6th wicket. Yorkshire really dragging this one back now, and it wasn't Harris Ralph taking a wicket with a 90-mile-an-hour delivery, but it was a 90-mile-an-hour throw probably from that range. And that 5th wicket, I've had 6 now, but the 5th wicket brought the score prediction back down to 180. Barnard just eases this one out towards Jordan Thompson, deep in the offside for a single. He's on to 5, but of course only 4 wickets left now in his last few overs. So when you'd expect them to start really going all guns blazing, they ain't got the wickets in the tent to be able to take too many risks now.
Yeah, and they don't have a set batter in either. They'd be hoping to get into these latter stages with someone that's been at the crease for a while. You're asking a lot of your lower middle order to come in and start hitting from the off when your batters have struggled as well in the last couple of overs, but we'll see what they can do.
Josh Baker, by the way, is the new man in for the Rapids, and this match is going in rapid fashion. He's number 33 and he's just pushed it out to number 88, Harry Brook, in the offside. Diving stop from him, no run.
Yeah, Yorkshire's got a little bit about him now again in the field. Now they've got a couple of wickets, there's some great diving stops and managing to dry up runs and boundaries.
Josh Baker is preparing then to face the searing pace of the Pakistan international. Harris Ralph, who's in now, he goes full, and that's cut away into the offside. First man in is Brook, can't get hold of it, so Thompson has to clean up behind him and they get through for 2.
Ralph will still be happy with that. His first couple of overs, he was unfortunately went for a couple of boundaries from slightly looser deliveries, but he still bowled well on the whole in this over. He's proving again he's keeping it tight and keeping it economical.
100 up in 9.4 overs. The 150's come up in 16.5. So I make that 7 overs and 1 ball to get the third 50. That's a distinct slowing in the scoring rate as Baker cuts this out into the offside again, and Thompson fields, and they pick up a single off the last ball of Harris Ralph's over. So run out in the over, 3 overs for 21 for Harris Ralph and 151 for 6 at the end of the 17th.
Yeah, and speaking of the run out, I've had a tweet saying that only one of the bails had fallen off before he threw it down. We couldn't see from here with the white bails and the white lines of the run-ups, but that explains it. I thought it was an absolute danger throw from Ralph. I thought, what are you doing, lad? But makes sense. He knows more than we do. I'm
going to say I couldn't remember any change to that law. And then you start to think, have they just changed it for T20 cricket or something like that? But couldn't remember it, and clearly not the case. We just didn't have good enough eyesight to be able to spot the bail at the other end, which is no big surprise. Thompson's gone down the leg side with his first delivery, and that is a wide.
Well, it's an interesting shot that's hit directly back to the stumps and only knocks one bail off. It's got to be very precise and got to be almost unlucky there, the Worcester batters, but you take all the wickets you can, how you get them.
Thanks to Ian Denham, who also says the only thing I can think of is one bail was dislodged by the batter, so the other bail available for the fielder to hit. Sounds like it was something along those lines. Nips as that next delivery is wide of off stump, and Thompson getting away with a dot. 2 for 27 off 2.1. He might finish off at this end. We'll see. His record in over number 18. And he's taken 4 wickets at this stage and gone for 9 and over when he's previously bowled this particular over, and he's got another dot through past Baker on this occasion.
Yeah, looks like that was a close one. You wonder how that's not hit something. Baker tried to cut away the previous ball, suggesting a little bit of width, and he's gone to try and drive that one down the ground, suggesting a little closer. So Thompson unlucky not to get anything there, but again, it's precious dot balls to be building up.
Really good comeback from Yorkshire in this second half, or maybe final third. Short ball from Thompson. Baker was trying to put that one somewhere out down towards Kirkstall, and he's wrapped him on the helmet by the looks of things, which he's whipped off, and so we're going to go through that stoppage as we do at this stage to check out that the batsman is okay. So slight break in play, 2.5 overs left. So what's that? Just a little eighth of the innings to go, Lev. What are they going to finish with here?
Well, whatever they finish with, I imagine they'll probably be disappointed. It's lower than they could have got at one stage. The run rate's always been above 10s for most of this game, and it's only in the last couple of overs it's really dropped off. We're asking a lot of the lower order to come in and start hitting from ball 1, and the way the bowlers have come back for Yorkshire, they're making it very difficult for them.
If they come out with less than 180 here, which is entirely possible the way things have gone in the last couple of overs, that's going to be they're going to be feeling disappointed with that end product, and Yorkshire will have a massive lift from that, clearly going in there with the bat.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what were they, 70 off the power play in the end, and set a really good platform. They were only 2 down. They lost that second wicket right at the end of the power play, and they were thinking we're on for a big total here, and it was really just never continued that momentum that they had going, and no batters really come in and continued on and being able to hit boundaries as freely as the top order did.
So the head check's been taken place and everything okay. The score prediction for Worcester got as high as 202. It's now 177. So that's a sea change, isn't it? But it's going to be improved by another wide there by Jordan Thompson, whose slower ball was misdirected down the leg side. I can tell you as well that the average winning score, 72% of teams I mentioned have won when batting first at Headingley in T20 matches. That's a sample of 23, and the average winning score 194. Average winning score batting second just 162. So anything above 162 is still going to put a bit of pressure on the side batting second here, you would have thought. If the fielding side can bowl well, Worcester have just got another 2 through the bat of Barnard out into the offside, so he's on to 7. 156 for 6. Jordan Thompson, who don't forget went for 20 odd in his first over, is 2 for 30. He's got 2 left in his third now. An attempted ramp, missed though by Barnard. They look nice when you get them, but when they miss them, they always look a little bit daft, don't they?
Yeah, you don't half look silly, and you love to see it as a bowler when you manage to see it fly past for a dot ball. It was interesting that Thompson managed to, he went very early, Barnard, so Thompson kept his line outside off stump, and then he sort of had to reverse ramp it. It'd have been a hell of a shot if he'd managed to get anything on it, but as it was good bowling from Thompson.
Can he get out then? Final ball of the over, he's gone Yorker length, and it's turned into the onside where Best advances in from the western side boundary, and they pick up just the 1. So it's a real good comeback by Jordan Thompson from that first over. He's gone for, can't remember exactly what it was, 21 or 22. So he's gone for either 9 or 10 since the first over. and got 2 wickets, and he's really tightened things up. So 18 gone, 157 for 6.
Yeah, the important thing there is managed to pick up wickets. That's what Yorkshire were lacking at the beginning of the innings, but they've, credit to them, they've stuck at it and they've managed to really pull this back around, and wickets have fallen in very quick succession for Worcester, not allowed them to build partnerships, and they'll be bitterly disappointed how this innings is limping to a close, but there's still 2 overs to go, and they'll need a big finish.
And Harris Ralph is going to finish at the Howard stand end, and he's got a tremendous record when bowling over number 19. 24 wickets he's taken in this particular over in 24 matches at 7.7. And he's going to go for boundaries here, for a boundary here, and it's a maximum as well. And that's a super effort by Barnard, who got the low full toss, stepped away to the offside. If you get that one wrong at the pace that Ralph's bowling at, you're going to lose your teeth, aren't you? But he managed to scoop it over the top of Colin Cadmore. It's cleared everything. 6.
That is very brave from Barnard. I can understand him trying it against Thompson at the other end, but with the pace of Ralph, you don't want to be putting yourself directly in the line of it, but he's done very well to him, and he's found that boundary that Worcester's been struggling for in the last couple of overs.
So they've got past that average second innings win score here, which might still present a challenge for Yorkshire, but he's missed this second delivery, which is another low full toss. You'd expect a succession of these sort of things from Ralph, and he's experienced T20 international cricketer.
Yeah, you'd be wanting to be bowling that outside off stump Yorker length. It's a bigger boundary over towards the western terrace from the Howard stand end. It's a hell of a shot to try and get a boundary through there, so he'll be trying to keep that line and keep Barnard having to try and manufacture something.
Here's Ralph again, and that's quick and missed. Barnard trying to hit that one way down towards Armley Jail, and
and the obligatory bit of guarding afterwards suggests that did something on the pitch.
Yeah.
It wasn't him trying to swing to the moon at all.
could have ended up on Bridgewater Place. Had he made a connection, he gave it the kitchen sink, but unfortunately missed for him. Ralph short this time, and he's going to get boundary this time though, because well, Harris Ralph disappointed with that, but I've got to say the shot was on, wasn't it? It was short. Get your head out of the way, keep your eye on the ball, and he just had a swipe at it really and got a top edge. You can't really criticise as the bowler, and that's another boundary in the over, so 10 off it so far.
Can't really criticise the bowler, but I'm interested why you would go for that option at this stage. It's a shorter boundary towards the leg side. You get anything on that, and it's sailing over your fielders out a deep square and fine anyway. And he bowled so well and proved difficult to hit when he's been that fuller length, and see what he goes to next.
Yeah, I wasn't suggesting you can't criticise the bowler. I was the bowler can't really criticise the batsman for playing the shot was what I was meaning. You could criticise the bowler definitely, but you can't with this one. He's got a wicket. He's had a little bit of fortune. It's wide of off stump, and Barnard's had a pull at that one, and he's got a bottom edge on it onto his stumps. His leg stump has just been knocked forward, strangely enough. But that's the end of Ed Barnard, bowled officially on the scorecard by Harris Ralph, played on really for 18, and it's 167 for 7.
Yeah, that's kind of you to say. He's tried to pull that. It's just essentially a big mow over to the mid-wicket region is what he was hoping for. But like we said, Ralph's been a lot more successful when he's bowled that outside off-stump line, really falling up there, and it's difficult to try and get away a boundary through this offside and this big boundary. And it's proved just too much for Barnard on that occasion. He's dragged on.
So Barnard facing 12 deliveries, made 18 runs, out with a score on 167 for 7. So quick 20 for that 7th wicket. And we're down to the Worcestershire tail here, Dylan Pennington, who will have a job on with the ball very shortly. Good bowler as well, he's Pennington, but he's out there with the bat at the moment, and he's pushed his first delivery out to mid-off, and will pick up a single. It was the last ball of Ralph's over, last ball of Ralph's spell, and he'll finish with 4 overs, no maidens, 1 for 32, and with 1 over remaining, the Rapids 168 for 7, and are coming up well short of earlier predictions.
Yeah, but suddenly that last over, just picking up that 6, brings 180 back a possibility now. Yorkshire still need a very good last over. They'll be promising that they've got some new batters in at the crease. It's a big ask to try, but they've got a couple of wickets in hand to give them free licence just to swing in this last over and see what they can get themselves up to.
Joe Root and Jordan Thompson having a chat. It's going to be Tomo then to bowl the final over of this one. And in he comes, and that's a good delivery to start with. A slower ball, which Pennington has got an edge on. It's gone past Kola Cadmore. Looks like Adil Rashid's done the fielding. They have got through for 1.
Yeah, he got a good hand on that. Kola Cadmore somehow managed the slow ball, deceived everyone, batter and keeper, but he managed to dive back the correct way just in time and stop that boundary. Good start to the last over for Thompson.
Yeah, who's bowled the last over on 3 previous occasions and gone for 16.3 each time. But he could have a wicket here. Harry Brook coming in from long on, and he will have a wicket here, Jordan Thompson. So after that first over went for 20 odd, he's really pulled it back now. And Dylan Pennington caught by Harry Brook off Jordan Thompson. That's twice that combination has struck tonight.
It didn't look like he was going to quite have the legs to get to Brook at first, but it is just such a massive hit over to that side of the ground that Thompson will be trying to force the batters to want to play over there and hopefully pick up the last couple of wickets and keep these runs down.
Now then, Josh Baker's been given out on the board, not Dylan Pennington. So 3 of 7 deliveries for him. And it is Pat Brown, new man at the crease. PA announcer didn't seem to know who it was either, but Pennington is at the non-striking end. That is confirmed. And this first delivery to Brown. Thought it might have wrapped him on the pad, but it looks like there was some bat involved as well. Goes out into the covers for a single, so 170 for 8. Just 3 balls left in this Worcester innings.
Yeah, I think you won't be surprised to see Thompson turn into a couple more slow balls to finish out this innings. He's just brought up his fine leg and sent out long off.
There's Thompson, and Pennington giving him the bugle there, trying to hit him into the commentary box here, down over long on, but misses. Good slower ball again. He saw him coming there, Jordan Thompson. I thought it was a clever piece of bowling.
Yeah, an almighty swing from Pennington there, but a great dot ball from Thompson. Gets his captain Root to come over for a little chat, probably telling him the same thing. So
a little bit of a gamble, I suppose, bowling him in the last over, Jordan Thompson. He's not been red hot in either overs 19 or 20 so far in his relatively limited still bowling career at this end of the innings. Another slower ball here, nicely done, and that is pushed out into the offside where Lyth does the fielding, and they get just the 1. So just 1 left in the over. And they've given themselves, you would say, looking at the way this pitch is played, a very good chance here. Brown then on strike. Thompson again goes a little bit slower, and that is pushed out into the offside. They're going to come back and attempt a second, but it's surely going to be a run out, and is. And Pat Brown is run out off the final ball of the innings, which comes to a close in about 5 minutes when they put it back on the board at 172 it will be, because they got 1 complete run before the run out. They're putting it up as 171 for 8, but surely that should be 172 for 9 at the end of 20 overs. Top scorer, well, Jack Haynes, while he was out there, they were on for 200 plus. But you've got to say, Lev, that that's an excellent effort to pull things back by the Vikings.
Yeah, the Yorkshire Warriors will be very happy they managed to peg that back. 180 was looking like an absolute minimum at one stage, but some very good bowling from this strong Yorkshire bowling attack. Some change of ends proved me much more promising for the Yorkshire bowlers, and they managed to get something out of the wicket with the batting depth they've got, they'll be backing themselves to chase this down, but we shall see how it goes.
Yeah, so Yorkshire bowling figures. I'll give you Jordan Thompson's in a moment. Are they on the board over there? They are. 4 overs, no maidens, 3 for 35. He finishes with Harris Ralph, 4 overs, no maidens, 1 for 32. Dominic Best, 2 overs, no maidens, 1 for 12. Joe Root, 1 over, no maidens, 1 for 20. Shadab Khan, 3 overs, no maidens, none for 26. Adil Rashid, 4 overs for 30. And Matthew Revis bowled 2 pretty good overs there and took 1 for 13. So 172 for 9 is the outcome. Top scorer there, Jack Haynes with 61. 32 for Brett D'Oliveira, 25 Jake Libby, and then the rest. So Yorkshire are going to need 173 to win this match. We'll be back in a few minutes' time to chart their progress, but we'll just take a breather. Bye for now.
Yorkshire Vikings will require 173 to win when they take to the crease, and if you like the look of the Yorkshire Vikings new T20 shirt, why not pick one up during the game from one of our retail outlets at the ground? You can get yours now from £45. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please welcome back onto the pitch the Worcestershire Rapids. Headingley, make some noise for your home team, Yorkshire Vikings! Opening the batting for the Vikings, Adam Lyde and David Milan. Opening the bowling.
Welcome back then from Headingley Stadium. Brett D'Oliveira to open the bowling then for the Worcestershire Rapids. Adam Lyth to take strike for Yorkshire and opening the batting with David Milan. So 173 needed by Yorkshire to win this one, and that's a good start. Adam Lyth has chipped it over deep backward square leg and will pick up 4.
Yeah, great start for the Yorkshire batters. They'll be looking to get off to a flyer like they saw Worcester did, but continue that momentum through the rest of the innings. Got some great firepower to come in, which gives these openers a bit more freedom, and Lyth will be very happy to get underway in such a manner.
D'Oliveira in again, right arm over the wicket, and Lyth works that one wide of mid-on. The troops are in though quickly. Looked like it was Dylan Pennington, I think, doing the fielding, and they get through for a single. So 5 without loss.
They did very well there to stop the 2. That pocket was something that Worcester kept picking off all innings in theirs and picking up 2s. They'll be looking to see how Yorkshire went about it and not make the same mistakes.
Milan then on strike for the first time. Here's D'Oliveira, leg stump. Milan just flicking that out into the leg side, and we'll pick up a single. I would love to give you some David Milan stats, but at the moment Wi-Fi is very slow here. As Lyth works that one into a similar position he did a couple of balls ago. And we'll pick up one more. Adam Lyth moving on to 6, and Milan on 1 drives this next delivery back to D'Oliveira. Who's in again, and Milan just flicking that off his legs, this time around the corner, where it's fielded by Charlie Morris, and that's fired back in. End of the over then, so that 1 boundary for Adam Lyth. He's on 6, Milan on 1, and Yorkshire Vikings 7 without loss after 1.
Yeah, good comeback from D'Oliveira. First ball got taken down for the 4, and it could have been a lot worse than that. He showed a good restraint to peg it back and just go for the 7 off his first over. So we've got Pennington that's going to be opening the bowling with him from the pavilion stand end. How's those Milan stats coming? Are we there yet?
Dylan Pennington, right arm, fast medium. Adam Lyth with an excellent strike rate against bowling of this kind. 792 runs in 474 deliveries.
I thought you were doing his strike rate then. He's got a great strike rate of 700. I thought, Jesus.
He's got a strike rate of 167.09. He's also been out 29 times, but then again, You'd expect that, wouldn't you? Top of the order, and he's just cut this first Pennington delivery straight to point, no run.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how this double left-hand opening combo goes together. Quite often forget that Milan was world #1 T20 batter at one stage.
Yeah, not that long ago. He's at the non-striking end though. Pennington over the wickets, and Lyth misses one down the leg side, but it won't matter in the sense that he'll still pick up a run because it's a wide.
Yeah, the bowlers have to be on it, bowling a double left-hand opening combo. There'll not be that many around in the county game, and anything down leg side you're going to get penalised now, not in the luxury of the county champs anymore.
Pennington turns then, and in he comes again, and Lyth has been struck. The ball lodged actually at the back of the pad flap there, front leg, big appeal, not out.
It's just by Lyth's shot, maybe it was pitching outside leg. He looking to heave that into the leg side, but he'll be happy. A big appeal like that's still there.
Pennington then. He comes again. That's wide of off stump, just a little bit of width, and Lyth just using the pace of the ball to open the face. No slip in place, and he's running away down to the Howard stand end for 4.
Yeah, anything just either side of the keeper's going to race away down that bottom end. It always does here at Headingley. Fine leg was quite wide, he had no chance of getting to that. Lyth will be happy to get another boundary on the board after a couple of dot balls to start the over.
Adam Lyth going at a strike rate of 157 during power play overs. He's a strong starter, and he's pulled this one to short fine leg. His head looking skyward because he felt either side of that man would have been a boundary. He got a fair bit on it, but he missed out on this occasion. He's in double figures though. Yorkshire 12 without loss. Reminder, they need 173. Oh, they needed 173 to start with to win this. 161 now. Lyth waits, goes to that trigger movement, back and across, and then pushes Pennington out to the man just inside the circle, who is Ed Barnard. Does the fielding, no run. It's pretty blustery out there.
You can see a few shirts going in the breeze. The sun just beginning to set now, causing that awkward light across the ground where some parts are in the shade and some parts are still in glorious sunshine, and the floodlights are on also. Here's
Barnard, Pennington even I should say, into Lyth, who pushes it back to the bowler in his follow through, and there is no run, so 2 gone. Yorkshire making 5 from that second over, are 12 without loss.
Yeah, we'll still be happy with that start. Just a couple of boundaries, but other side of that, they've bowled quite a few dot balls, and they're bowling good lines and consistently bowling good lines by the looks of it. Lyth's been trying to get it away onto that leg side, that shorter boundary that Worcester took advantage of in the early starts of their power play, but not been all that successful so far.
Yep, they're up to pace with DLS, which has it at 12 at the moment as well. Change of bowling then, and this is going to be Josh Baker bowling his left arm spin at the left-handed Milan, who pushes him into the onside for a single first ball.
Yeah, Worcester just taking a slightly different approach to Yorkshire in the power play, and making these changes to the bowlers by the looks of it, not allowing the batters to settle against any one type.
Baker then to Lyth, who's levered that one into the air as if he was playing with a pitching wedge. Picked up a single for it.
Not all that convincing from Lyth, but he's safe. It's a very big hit over there to get to the boundary rider.
So Milan back on strike. Got a good record when facing, a reasonable record when facing slow left arm. He's missed out here though. That's backward of square leg, and fielded by Charlie Morris, who's inside the circle. 2 men out are at long on and out at cow corner. And Milan decides to step inside that one, and he's got it away through the offside for 6. That's a big hit down to the back of the first tier of the Taverner stand. A lusty blow from David Milan, 20 without loss.
That's beautifully executed. He just stepped away to the leg side to give himself some room, and such a clean strike. It was always going for 6 the moment it left the bat.
Here once again is Baker, and that is turned through mid-wicket by Milan for a stroll of a single. So they'll keep it ticking while they can, and they'll go big when they get the opportunities, this pair. To, well, on their days, world-class players. We remember that enormous score that Adam Lyth got against Northamptonshire in this form of the game a few years ago. And he's just worked a single, make that 2, out to deep backward square leg to take him on to 13. In Yorkshire on to 23 without loss after 3 overs. They'll be happy with this start.
Yeah, the important thing is they're still not lost a wicket yet, touch wood. And that's the all important thing in the power play. You want to get off to a good start, and you want to leave not too much for the lower order to do.
Going to see Pennington continue at the Kirkstall Lane end then for over number 4. And if Yorkshire don't lose during this power play, then clearly going to be overwhelming favourites with the firepower they've got to see it through. They still need a further 150 runs to win this. They've got 17 overs to find those runs. Milan on strike, and he's got right underneath this one. That is a massive hit by David Milan over the top of the scoreboard. I think he bounced off the roof on the top of the east stand, and is somewhere out, as somebody once said, towards the confectionery stall, I think. 29 without loss.
That was absolutely enormous. It's flown over the scoreboard. I think it actually bounced off the top of the scoreboard, and it's gone into someone's back garden, asking for his ball back later on, but a new ball required for now. That's such a clean strike from Milan. Just allowed him to open himself up into that shorter boundary, and really capitalised, and that's exactly what they need to do in this power play.
So Yorkshire clocking on. Worcester were 18 for 1 at this stage. Yorkshire 29 without loss. So already in front of the clock and not yet suffered any loss. But things can change quickly in T20 cricket. They're in front of DLS. No surprise there all of a sudden, which suggests that at this stage they should be 20. So ball has been changed. Pennington has the latest version in his hand. And Milan taps his bat and waits, then in comes Dylan Pennington. It's banged into the pitch and turned into the onside. A good piece of fielding as well, throws down the middle stump at the bowler's end, but Milan was already safely home.
Yeah, lucky through to Milan's end there. He's the one that set off with purpose for the run. Lyth hesitated before joining him in, and if it had been the other end, you do worry if Lyth could have been short, but as it is, good single.
So you're listening to Yorkshire Vikings versus Worcestershire Rapids, first T20 game of 2022 for both these sides, with Katie Levick and myself, Jonathan Doidge. And Pennington, well, Adam Lyth tried to mow that one really in a similar position to that which David Milan had done earlier in the over. A little bit less of the culture about it, and he missed.
Yeah, looking to join in the fireworks there. It looked like it might have just ricocheted off his ribs as it's gone through to the keeper.
Crowd certainly starting to get behind Yorkshire here as Pennington comes in. Short ball, nicely played, Adam Lyth. He's lofted that one over short, fine leg. One bounce and into the Taverner's stand for 4.
Yeah, a bit of a nothing ball there. It's short, it's wide, it's down leg side, and it's allowed Lyth to just pick up an easy 4 runs. If he'd have connected with it a little bit better, you think that could have gone into the stands, but as it is, 4's more than enough at the moment, and Yorkshire move on to 34 for none.
Very strong player off his legs is the lefty. And he waits again as Pennington comes in once more from the Kirkstall Lane end. He's got underneath this one. There's a fielder out there, but he's going to be nowhere near that Yep, I think I just said he's a strong player off his legs, Adam Lyth, and he's whipped it away backward of square leg for 6.
Yeah, similar to the ball before, we said if he got all of it, it's sailing into the stands. He did exactly that. The next ball made that look effortless as he just whipped it, and it's got no real height on it, and it sailed away quite flat into the square leg boundary.
Thing of beauty is the Adam Lyth pull shot, I've got to say. Seen him play that many times now, and it never disappoints. 40 without loss. He's on 23. Milan on 16 at the non-striking end, but Lyth waits as Pennington comes in again. Down the leg side, there's a bit of pressure on the bowler now, having gone for those 2 boundaries. And he's just succumbing at the moment, Dylan Pennington.
Lyth did well just to pull out of that shot. They thought about trying to get a little nick on it, and you don't want to feather one through to the keeper after a great over so far. But as it was, it's a wide to Pennington, and now he's got a lot to do to get out of this over.
23 he's gone for off 11 deliveries, 11 legitimate deliveries. And here he comes, and Lyth has got that away this time over the top of cover. It was inside the circle, shot was on, and he lofted it just high enough, probably only 18 inches out of the reach of the jumping fielder. But 4 more makes that a very good over indeed for Yorkshire, and Warwickshire and Worcestershire are searching for something here and a wicket pretty quickly. Yorkshire 45 without loss after just the 4.
Glorious shot to end that over. Took everything in me not to just shout shot as he guided it over extra cover away for 4 to the shorter boundary. Boundaries coming from all around the ground in that over, and you think that'd be a change for Pennington now from that end. Worcester desperately need to try and get something out of this power play to try and swing it back in favour. They saw how wickets tumbled for Yorkshire when they built pressure, and that's exactly what they need to do.
Charlie Morris coming into the attack for Worcestershire. Down at the football stand, the Howard stand end of the ground. And just making a couple of adjustments to the field ahead of this 5th over, and here he comes now. Right arm over the wicket and turned into the leg side by Milan for a single. Morris, he's only bowled this over number 5 in 1 previous T20 match, and he took 1 wicket. Not quite sure how he went for 7.8 in that over, but there we go.
Someone got injured mid-run, I think, and didn't complete it.
46 without loss. Milan on 17. Lyth on strike on 27. Just drops the ball out backward of point. Oh, Milan's gone for all money if that ball hits, but it missed. Jake Libby with the throw. And Adam Lyth signalling to David Milan, sorry pal, he ain't going to be too happy with that.
Got a lot more on that than I think he realised. Lyth hard into the ground, which made it bounced up nicely for the fielder to take aim and throw. Milan didn't even bother to try and slide his back because he knew he was gone if it was a hit. Just don't really need to be taking those unnecessary risks at this stage when they've been scoring so nicely.
Here comes Morris again, and that's flicked into the leg side beautifully by David Milan, backward a square for 1. Yorkshire were 94% chance of winning at the end of the 4th over on the predictor.
If only he played 4 over games.
I thought you were going to say if only the predictor played for Yorkshire.
Which sounds like he does with that prediction. 94% after 4 overs. It's cricket, anything can happen.
Yeah, but he wouldn't be saying 94, he'd be saying 94% chance of winning this, those lads. Those Yorkies. Lyth, 28, steps back and across, pulls this through mid-wicket. There is a man out there, fairly square, and in the end it's skewed a little bit and gone straight to him. He's asking for another bat, Adam Lyth. He picked up a single for it, 29 to him, 49 without loss.
Yeah, his bat sounded pretty good when he was hitting 4s and 6s in the previous over, but he didn't get all of that one, and he managed to pick out the only fielder in the deep on the leg side.
So ring field with a man out, sweeping both leg and off, and Milan, lazy looking little flick at this and misses.
I was just thinking earlier in the over, Milan's making it look so easy, just playing him nicely off his hip, and that one just looked like it was too easy, just a little lazy waft outside off. Might have been a slow ball as it bounced through twice to the keeper, but he's still there.
Well, I'm just asking the bowler to hang fire a moment before he's ready to take this delivery. And in comes Morris, and that's flicked off the hip by Milan. Out to deep backward square leg for the one that takes him to 19. And at the end of the 5th over, precisely the same point at which Worcestershire Rapids had got to 50, Yorkshire have done exactly the same.
Yeah, and they just need to continue on in the same manner that Worcester did, but keeping those wickets in hand. I think that's where Worcester went wrong in the first innings. They kept losing wickets at important points. They never quite built partnerships later on. They built a great opening in a power play partnership, and that's what Yorkshire are looking to do as well. Not get too frustrated by so easily picking up the runs like these two are at the moment.
So overs 2 and 5 there have both gone for 5 runs, but everything else has gone for plenty more. Pennington 2 overs for 27 at this Kirkstall Lane end, and no surprise then on the back of that the change has come, and it's Pat Brown, number 36 on his back, who is going to take the reins from this the Kirkstall Lane end then. Floodlights starting to take effect, shadowing out there on the pitch as Brown's in, right arm round the wicket to the left-handed Milan. Dot ball dropped into the offside.
Looks like he might have got a little bit of movement off the pitch there. Milan signalling to lie. Did he roll his fingers across that as it found his outside edge, playing down the line of the ball? But I think, as Thompson showed in the first innings, variation is key on this pitch. It's not going to offer you all that much, so it's up to you to try something different.
So in he comes round the wicket, and Milan has got that away, split the gap between short third man and backward point. And from the moment it left the bat, it was 4 runs down to the Howard Stand end.
Yeah, a bit too wide there from Brown. He'll be disappointed. It was almost a wild shot from Milan, who just flung everything at it, but as soon as it hit the bat, like you said, that was always going for 4. He'd be disappointed to see it bisecting his 2 fielders in the point region.
Pat Brown's bowled this 6th over in 7 previous T20 matches, taken 7 wickets when doing so. Gone at 8.6 and over. He's in again, and Milan, that's timed beautifully by Milan. Pinged that into the offside. There is a sweeper out there in the form of Ed Barnard, who will keep him to 1.
Almost timed too well there. Absolutely flew to the only deep fielder out there at the cover region. It was beautiful to watch as Milan's cover drive so often are.
Brown just asking Ed Pollock if he will move from being at a straight mid-wicket, squarer on the leg side. He's gone round to square leg now, and the man who was out at deep backward square has been moved to fill the gap on the boundary edge at mid-wicket. Adam Lyth makes contact, it'll beat him, but he doesn't go that way. He goes through the offside. He's not got the full shilling on this one. He's going to pick up 2, and they're going to have to settle for that. It was pulled in about 5 or so inside the boundary rope down to our right at the northwest corner of the ground. Barnard doing the fielding. So 57 without loss, 2 left in the 6th, 2 left in the power play then. Now at the end of that, Worcester were 70 for 2. But of course they did have that purple patch, didn't they, for a few overs at this sort of stage. Brown in, that's looked like it was a quicker delivery, and Lyth tries to loft that in a similar position to the offside, past the infield, but misses.
Yeah, I think his previous delivery was a slow ball, hence Lyth not managing to get it to the boundary. Then attempt him again with the same one, but at full speed. It's good bowling from Brown. I think the important thing for Yorkshire is wickets in hand. Worcester did go off a bit stronger in these same overs, but lost a couple of wickets, and then that proved vital towards the end of the innings.
So dropped, dropping a man out now at deep backward point. So everybody else up inside the circle for what is the final ball of the power play. Just 2 men wide-ish on the offside, and he's gone that way as you'd expect as the bowler, but he's got it wrong, Pat Brown, and that's a wide, very wide outside off stump. In fact, probably a wide in a red ball game.
Yeah, very wide and very full as well. Missed the pitch completely. Lucky that the keeper still managed to get something on that.
Adam Lyth just checking something with the umpire. He's now settled back in. And he gets a full bunger this time, wide of off stump, and just plays it out to one of the sweepers. Picks up a single off the last ball, so 32 to him. That's the end of the power play. Yorkshire behind by 11 on what Worcestershire were at the same stage, but they'd lost 2. Yorkshire still got their opening pair at the wicket.
Yeah, I think Yorkshire will be happy with that start. You know, I think it's so important not to lose wickets in the opening power play, and when you've got batters like Lyth and Milan now set there on Lyth's got 32 and Milan's got 24, you'd like to think that at least one, if not both of these, are going to push on to a good innings now and try and bat through and have got all of the class still to come in with Root, Brooks, Kohler, Cadmore.
59 without loss. D'Oliveira coming back into the attack, having bowled the opening over for 7. In he comes. Right arm over the wicket, and Lyth just picks him off for a single. Out to one of the sweepers who's deep on the leg side to the left-hander, the western side of the ground. That was Ed Barnard coming into field, so he's got long on and long off both back. Barnard's at mid-wicket, probably the better part of 10 metres in from the boundary. There's a deep backward square. Short fine leg, short third man. Slightly backward point, a man in front of square on the offside as well, plus a sweeper out at an extra cover position. But it's Milan who's finding the same man, Barnard, out on the leg side to this next D'Oliveira delivery.
Yeah, he bowled well in his first over, D'Oliveira. His first ball went for 4, but after that he kept it consistent. It looks like he's going to keep bowling to this leg side field he's got in place.
In comes D'Oliveira again, and Lyth pushes that up to long on. And he'll pick up 1. 34 to him now. Yorkshire will just knock it around into the gaps and then wait for some boundary balls that they'll hope will come. Milan tries to force this one back past the bowler, but good piece of fielding by D'Oliveira stops it, no run.
He's bowling well so far, D'Oliveira, this over. He's bowling to his plan, and he's executing it well.
Gets his hand right, wrist right over the top of that one, and Milan just pushes back to him.
He'll be keen to get out of this over, not give away any boundaries. He's bowled very tight so far, only been able to pick up the singles and a couple of dot balls in there as well.
And in comes D'Oliveira again, and Milan just works it out to long on, and we'll pick up another 1. 7 gone then, 63 without loss.
Yeah, it's a good over from D'Oliveira there. Being able to have the fielders out, he bowled, you could tell he's got a leg side plan. It's a massive hit over to that side of the ground when you're bowling from the Howard stand end, and so he's thought, I'm happy for you to pick up singles to my sweepers. You're going to have to try something to force a boundary, and neither batter did. They stuck to the guns and they just picked off the easy runs, and they'll be hoping that boundaries will be much more free-flowing from this end with that short offside boundary. Leg side boundary for the left-handers, apologies.
Bowling from the Kirkstall Lane end, Ed Barnard.
Ed Barnard coming into the attack then for the first time tonight, the Kirkstall Lane end. And in he'll come, right arm over the wicket. And that's a pretty good start as well, just held it back a little bit. Milan had to force it but couldn't get it past the infield.
Yeah, Barnard's got 3 men out on the leg side as well, at deep square, deep mid-wicket and long on.
And he's in once more, right arm over as Milan pulls this. Slightly off balance as he did so. He's going to get a single out to Charlie Morris in the onside. So tempo has just been quelled somewhat. 59 after 6 overs. And after 7.2, just 64 without loss, but still plenty of firepower to come for Yorkshire. Barnard in again. Pulls this one back. Oh, that's a brilliant attempted catch. Adam Lyth with the pull shot. Didn't get as much on it as he did with the previous one, and that's a really good effort, which has in the end gone for 6. Ed Pollock, I think it was, with a one-handed attempt, but it's dropped over the east side boundary rope for 6 runs, and will take Adam Lyth, should take Adam Lyth to 40.
Yeah, Lyth will have had his heart in his mouth there for a moment, as it just seemed to be sticking to the fielder in the air, but unfortunately he's parried it over for 6. But looks like Yorkshire are trying to target that shorter leg side boundary from this end.
Barnard again goes wide of off stump this time, and Lyth will go this time. Surely he has. He's levered it out to the man sweeping in the offside, and having been let off the very ball before, he's gone caught for 40 off the bowling of Ed Barnard. Confirm who took the catch in a moment.
That's just not the smartest cricket there from Lyth. He got a reprieve just the ball before. Did he need to play that big extravagant drive over to the extra region and pick out the only fielder out there? But he has done so. It's a decent knock for the opener. He's got 40 runs from 24 balls. He's got Yorkshire off to a decent start, but he'll be bitterly disappointed he's not cashed in there and getting a reprieve from the ball before.
Yeah, so it was Gareth Roderick who took the catch coming in from the cover boundary. Adam Lyth deserved applause. He hit 40 off 24 deliveries, which is a good start by anybody's standards, and given Yorkshire a good opportunity to win this match. Tom Kohler-Cadmore is the new man at the crease for Yorkshire, number 32 on his back. Good to see him back in action for the county, having not played first team cricket in that first raft of championship matches. And TKC, well, at his best, we know he's a quality white ball player. Didn't have the season he would have wanted last year, but it was better in this form of the game than what he was able to produce in red ball. Just pushes that one back. Went out and played a bit of franchise cricket, of course, during the winter. Played in the 100 last year. 70-1 as Barnard's in and bowling at him again here. Kohler-Cadmore opens the face and gets it out to point, but it's straight to the man, so 2 dots. First 2 balls he's faced, and Barnard with a good start. 1 over for 7, or 1 over 1 for 7. 74-1 after 8 overs.
Yeah, it was a great first over from Barnard. Of course, he's gone for 7 runs, but 6 of those were almost a wicket as well when the deep square fielder almost clung on to a Adam Lyth sweep, but not quite. But he got his man the very next ball, so he'll be pleased with how he's come out in that first over. And he's got that all-important breakthrough for Worcester. D'Oliveira obviously staying on here for a 3rd over. He's bowled very well so far.
Here he is again then to Milan, who's got a good record against leg spinners, and that's pushed out into the onside by David Milan for a single, striking at 140.71. Milan against leggies over the years in T20 cricket. So Kohler-Cadmore less productive, 120.8 is his strike rate against leg spin, been dismissed on 5 occasions. And well, he's okay with this one. He's got off the mark with a drive up to long off for a single.
Yeah, D'Oliveira has bowled really well so far. Been really impressed. Don't think there's that much turning the surface for spinners, so he's just bowling hard lines into the pitch and making them just pick up the singles into the leg side. He's not really given them anything yet.
Milan, though, has got this one away. There's a man at deep backward square leg. He lofted it in that general direction, so he's going to be kept to 1. Roderick, I think, was that man. The previous catcher it was. So another one. They're ticking over here, no more than that. They got to 70, fully 2 overs behind the point at which Worcester had done that in their innings. But don't forget, they were pegged back later. They've lost a wicket here, though, because Kohler-Cadmore basically has missed a straight one and have been bowled off stump, trying to play a shot through the leg side. I think I'd describe it as, no more, no less.
Yeah, trying to think what word you can come up with for that. It's an interesting shot. First ball facing D'Oliveira. I said he has bowled really well so far. He's bowled consistent lines, just hard length in at the stumps, and it's been difficult to get away. And Cole Cadmo's thought obviously can try and take him down, but I'm just not sure that was the right option against this particular bowler. The other bowlers have given you a bit more to go at, but luckily for Yorkshire, they've got a very strong batting lineup, and that brings Joe Root to the crease, who's not a bad player himself.
Tom Kohler-Cadmore then just the 1 run from 4 deliveries out there, and as Lev says, Joe Root, yeah, he's not a bad player himself, is he? Harry Brooks still to come, Shadab Khan, Jordan Thompson, Joe Root, as I mentioned, I think right at the start of tonight's broadcast, just glues Yorkshire's innings together so often when he plays at this form of the game, and he's off the mark straight away with a reverse paddle down very fine for 2 runs. His record in T20 internationals, he played 32 of them with a high score of 893 runs, averaging 35.72 at 126.8. He's got nearly 2,000 T20 runs in total from 83 matches. He's a high-class player, and he's got another 2 through mid-wicket to his 2nd delivery. In fact, 2 more, and it will bring up 2,000 runs in T20 cricket for him. That 2 takes him to 4, and after 9 overs, Yorkshire is 77 for 2. It's not a done deal at this stage, Lev, but they've still got some class out there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's still anyone's game, but Root's come in with real intent those first couple of balls and looking to just keep the scoreboard ticking over. That's what you can find yourself in danger of in these situations. You think you go off to a good start and you take your foot off the gas a little bit, but Root looking to run hard there when boundaries might not be so easy to come by, which is what I think Worcester did really well in the first innings. So hopefully build a partnership with Milan now.
Here's Barnard continuing for the 10th over of this Worcestershire innings. And Milan steps back and gets that up to long on for 1. He's on to 29. Thanks everybody for your tweets, by the way. It's so berserk in the commentary box during T20 matches. It's not always easy to get to those. Rapid fire out there. Andy Walker says, some excellent stats from you tonight, JD. Taken hours and hours of painstaking homework to come up with these, I can promise you. As Barnard is turned to the leg side by Root. They think about a single. Milan is sent back by the former England skipper.
Well bowled from Barnard there. Root didn't look comfortable at any stage, and Milan looking to quickly scamper the run just caused a little bit of panic amongst the Yorkshire batters.
Thanks to Aid Wiz, James Hobbs, Jordan Geldy, David Ward for your comments with regard to the bail in that first innings. Sorry I didn't get to them at the time. And for yours, Stuart, as well. Read the commentary team as Root pushes 1 up to long on, who's coming in to field that and keep him to 1. So 79 for 2. Katie Levick and myself, Jonathan Dodge, bringing you this one from Headingley Stadium, the first match of the campaign for both these teams, who would love to do well in this competition. Yorkshire, having never won it, certainly would. I've been to a couple of finals days. Milan drives that up to long off for a single.
Yeah, stepped across there. Milan looking to give himself some room to try and get it into that leg side area they've been peppering so far, but well bowled. Barnard followed him and they could only hit it back down the ground for 1.
At Katie_Lev or at Jonathan Dodge for your tweets. Try and get him out there, but Barnard's in again, goes slower ball this time, nicely bowled and well met by the middle of Root's bat out into the offside for 1.
He's been really impressive so far, Barnard. It's 1.5 overs, he's 1 for 11 so far, but of course that 6 was almost a chance as well, and Fielder could have clung on to it, so he's been a really good change for Worcester, and he's made it difficult for these Yorkshire batters to progress the score.
Root then, Milan, sorry, then waits, and Barnard is in and he gets this away to long on. Hit it pretty well as well. Jack Haynes, who was the star of the show with the bat for the Rapids, did the fielding, and they picked up 1 run. So at this point, halfway through, Yorkshire 82 for 2 by comparison to the 102 for 2 that Worcestershire put up on the board, but Well, by over number 12, they'd lost the third wicket, and then, of course, they lost plenty more, 9 of them in total by the end of the innings. So while Yorkshire are behind in terms of that rate that Worcester were posting at this stage, I think they'll still be happy enough.
Yes, certainly. You've got to be careful in this game that you can't be too happy with what you got so far. You do need to keep pushing those boundaries because pressure can build ever so quickly in this shorter format. And Worcester have bowled a lot better in the last couple of overs than their opening few spell.
Adjustments in the field then. I'm going to see Charlie Morris, who bowled 1 over for 5 in the 5th over of the innings, coming back into it for over number 11. And he's right arm over the wicket, and Milan just eases that one up to long on for a single. Morris just one previous over in over number 11, took a wicket, went for 7. And the way things are in this match, probably happy to replicate that at this stage. Joe Root on strike. And in comes Morris, and Root gets an inside edge. He's got a bit of luck on his side there as a former England skipper. Will pick up 4 through fine leg, but he wasn't playing it there in any way, shape or form when he played the shot.
Yeah, so unfortunate for the bowler. Managed to find that inside edge of Root, but it's raced away through the keeper, beat everyone, somehow missed the stumps, and he's got 4 against his name. But Yorkshire desperately needed that though. Need to just keep finding the boundaries as much as they are ticking it over with the singles.
87 for 2. Root on 10. Morris in from the Howard stand end. Root gives in the charge, and he's got plenty on that, but there's a dive to the right by the man at mid-off who was inside the circle, and a good piece of fielding keeps them to 1.
A very good piece of fielding there. It looked like it was 4 all the way from Root, showing a bit of intent coming down the wicket. But well done Worcester, keeping the pressure up, not making it easy to find these boundaries.
Trying to zone the bins in on who it was, but of course he would turn around at the very point they'd finally focused. You'll know though.
Well, looking at the number, I thought Roderick, but equally can't really see my number. I'm not wearing my glasses.
Professional cricketer Katie Levick, as that's a short ball from Charlie Morris, and tried the uppercut, did Milan, and missed it. Professional to the end in the commentary box as well. Forgot my specs.
I like to pretend I don't need them.
I just admit I'm blind as a bat. 88 for 2. 2 left in the 11th. Milan on strike facing Morris, and he's got this one away to the leg side, but there's a man underneath it, and it is taken. And Yorkshire have lost a 3rd wicket now, and there might start to be 1 or 2 nerves given that they're already behind on the clock. David Milan caught in the deep off the bowling of Morris for 33. It was Ed Barnard, the man doing the catching.
Ever so casual from Milan there. Quite a few batters have perished on both sides, trying to hit it to that longest boundary and being tempted to try and see if they can clear it. No one has done so far, and they've all been caught in the deep. Disappointing from Milan that he's got himself started and he's made it look easy just working it around, but like I said, scoreboard pressure does bring those shots out of you. They'll be conscious of not being hitting boundaries as often as they'd like, and now suddenly Yorkshire don't look as strong a position as they once were. And
this is a key partnership now, you'd think, for the Vikings, because the man of the moment this season in red ball cricket has gone out to show us and remind us what he can do with the white ball. And he goes by the name of Harry Brook. Had a tremendous season in white ball cricket last year. He's on strike. 88 for 3, 1 left in the 11th over. He was used to going in earlier stages than this quite often last year. He's worked that one through straight mid-wicket first ball and will pick up 1. And that's your lot for the over. So, productive over by the Rapids. And Morris got pretty much what we were suggesting he might at the end of that over. 1 for 12 off 2 now. Yorkshire 89 for 3. They've got 9 overs to find 84 more runs to win it.
Yeah, like you said, it's a big partnership for Yorkshire now with these two. A lot of Yorkshire fans, I'm sure, will be hoping to see them in the England whites this summer together, and try and enjoy it whilst they can, whilst we can see them here playing for Yorkshire. But for the first time, the run rate's just required 9.3, and current run rate's 8.09. It's been pretty much even so far. You've got to keep an eye on that to get into these latter stages.
Now that wicket causes the win prediction to drop to 74% for Yorkshire. So chances being eroded to some extent. Barnard into Brook, who can't get it away for any runs. He's got a 155 strike rate against right arm fast medium bowling, or right arm medium. 13 times he's been out, but he's got 470 runs from just over 300 deliveries. 89 for 3 as he pulls this latest Barnard delivery into the deep on the onside. Roderick does the fielding, they get 1.
Yeah, Barnard's got all of his fielders on the leg side boundary in the deep, and he managed to just follow Brook there as Brook looked to give himself some room to maybe free his arms and try and go up over extra cover like he's seen a couple of others do in this game so far. But well bowled Barnard, followed him, didn't give him his arms.
Root on strike, and again he can't get it away past the bowler, straight back to him. It's going back to Harry Brook. Has got a 102, a high score in T20 cricket, which is no easy feat. He's got an overall strike rate of 146 and has scored 1,551 runs, averaging over 35 in his T20 career so far. But it's Root on strike. He tries the reverse sweep and got that away for 1. There was an appeal for LBW from Cox behind the stumps, but he got some bat on it. He's on to 12.
Always find that an interesting option when there is a short third. You've got to hit it well, and you've got to hit either side of him to get that boundary. It's by no means an easy gap to get it through. And I think he's lucky to still be there. Having
been in front on DLS for quite some time, they're level now at 91. Barnard in, that's nicely played. That's very nicely played indeed. And that is 6 runs. The second time tonight we've seen that front lip on the top tier of the northeast stand hit. This time it was Harry Brook, and dear me, Lev, he made that look so easy.
Absolutely, just stood and delivered. So still at the point of contact there and held the shot for the photographers. And it's just such a clean swipe. It was always going for 6 the minute it left the bat. But that's what Yorkshire need to do. They need to target that shorter boundary and take opportunity of when the Worcester bowlers do bowl in the odd one in the slot.
Wonderful strike. Barnard's in again, and Brook's got that straight this time, and that's 4 more from the moment it left the bat. Lofted it over the bowler, 1 bounce and into the boards down beneath our feet. And so a couple of boundaries to finish a productive over for Yorkshire, whose momentum is just starting to get going again. 101 for 3 after 12.
Yeah, very good over for Yorkshire there. It just gone a little bit slow and a little bit stagnant out there for the last couple of overs. Boundary's not easy to come by. A couple of wickets falling from the guys that were in, and you'd think would be looking to bat through. But Brook's really shown straight away his class that he'd done in the county championship all season so far, and he's hitting the ball so cleanly from ball 1. Managed to find the boundary a couple of times in that over, and that really helps Yorkshire just ease the pressure.
And the way that Joe Root normally plays, you can see these two, Harry Brook maybe going that little bit more on the attack. Joe Root running the ball around, picking up some boundaries. Tends not to be a big 6 hitter, Joe. Certainly got a decent boundary count, but here's Baker back into the attack. He bowls 1 over for 11 first up with his left arm spin. Root working him out into the onside for a single first delivery.
Well, a few years ago when Brook and Root were batting together for Yorkshire, Brook said that batting with Root really helped him, realising how you can play low-risk shots still in this and get good reward, and I think that shows with the type of innings Root's going to do.
But warning for Harry Brook, who's in the red in his previous efforts against left arm spin. He's got a 4 here. He's got it away to the onside of straight, and there was a diving attempt by Long On, who was running round but couldn't get anything on it. Harry Brook scored 91 off 92 against slow left arm in the past, so below 100% strike rate, unusual for him. He's succumbed on 3 previous occasions to slow left arm bowlers. So potential danger territory, but he is a different player these days.
Yeah, the way he's batted so far this year, he doesn't really show himself to have a weakness, probably other than his own ease at the crease.
Yawning gaps on the leg side, but he's gone wide of off stump this time and been cut by Brook, who's going to pick up a couple here. Barnard doing the fielding. So a good start to the over.
Yeah, an appreciative round of applause from the Yorkshire crowd. Happy to just see the scoreboard ticking over a bit more frequently than it was for the last couple of overs, and momentum swing back in our favour.
They passed that 100 with the final ball of the 12th over. 9.4 overs it took Worcester to get to the same stage. Brook with a flat bat, really, square on the offside this time. Barnard does the fielding, and Brook calls his man, his teammate Joe Root, back for a second. They get through comfortably.
Yeah, that's what I think Worcester did so well in the first innings. He really managed to find those twos which can tick over the scoreboard without you even realising it, and as a bowling unit you're suddenly a little bit behind, so these two are running very well together.
Brook onto 20 all of a sudden, and working this next Baker delivery out into the deep on the leg side will pick up a comfortable stroll over 1. He's faced just 9 deliveries so far, Harry Brook. 6 and 2 fours. So he's up the ante. Root, more circumspect, 13 off 10. But he's still there, importantly. 1-1-1 for 3. Root opens the face. Beautiful shot by Joe Root. It's going to be reeled in without crossing the boundary, but that was a cracking shot for 2. Backward of point. Along the carpet all the way. 15 to him. And you'll see more and more of that. Yorkshire, they've completed 13 overs of this chase. They still need 60 more to win from 7 overs. They're 113 for 3.
Yeah, Brook coming in and scoring so easy as he has done allowed Root just to play his shots a bit more reservedly. We did see him pulling out the reverses and the paddles in his first opening balls, trying to find those boundaries, but luckily for him, Brook's found the boundaries and has allowed him to just play the supporting role and keep ticking the scoreboard over with him.
So 7 remaining. Run rate required 8.69. They're going at 8.69. They need 8.57 to win it from here, so they're slightly ahead of what they're going to need to knock them off. Pat Brown back into the attack, right arm over up the Kirkstall Lane end, lofted over the top by Harry Brook. 4 more.
So easy from Harry Brook. He's really seen it well this season so far. His timing's absolutely on point, and he's just stood and delivered once more and hit him over that extra region, which is no easy shot, and certainly made Brown think after that first ball of his over, what's he going to do next?
So 25 to Harry from just 10. Fabulous strike rate. Has started to kick Yorkshire on again. 56 they need. Plenty of time at this stage. Joe Root just indicating to Harry Brook that fine leg's been dropped out. There's only a sweeper out at cover. Everybody else on the offside is inside the circle. And then 4 men set back on the leg side. Lots of space as he comes round the wicket here, Pat Brown. And that's got away wide of fine leg. He's got a lengthy chase and dive on. He's flicked it back in for his teammate, who's going to be Roderick doing the fielding. Harry Brook, well, they got through 4. 2. Yeah, 2.
Yeah, Root sent him back there looking for the third, probably the right call in the end. And that's actually a really good bit of fielding, I think, down there. It's just where the boundary curves round, and it's got to time your dive to perfection to try and not just parry it over. So he did well in the end, but looks like Brown's going to be targeting that hip region to try and make him play on the leg side, because he's just been so freely hitting over extra so far.
Brook on strike. Brown round the wicket. He's aimed at the leg stump this time, and he's got a good contact on it, Harry Brook, but no further than the man at fine leg, who didn't have to move far to field it. So 1 more to Brook, 28 to him. 120 for 3. 53 needed to win. Atmosphere really has built here as people dotted all around the ground. And Barnard, or even Brown from the Kirkstall Lane end's gone wide down the leg side. And there's too many numbers with 30 on the back in this Worcestershire side. Brown, Morris, Baker, Barnard. What's all that about?
Not making it easy for us, are they?
No. That's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. So wide ball, 4 of them now in this Vikings innings. 121 for 3. Just a moment to breathe. Root on strike and gets one to cut here. Does it nicely, but he's fisting his own bat then. And he's still having another swing of it in frustration, because if he'd got it away either side of that fielder at point, that would have been 4.
I think he's angry. He didn't just put his arms through that one. He tried to play it too nicely, too textbook, and he's just guided it straight to the point fielder. If you just slash your hands through that, I think that was going for 4. Width he was given.
You've got a large pig in the western terrace side of the ground, as maybe that's put off the bowler here, because he's dropped another one wide down the leg side, Pat Brown, and conceded another wide. It is a pig, isn't it? Yeah. What's your bacon sarnie, Lev?
Always.
Watch the diet. Big game coming up. Well, loads of big games coming up after you start. Here's Brown again, and that would have been wider leg stump once more. Root chose to play it out to Barnard, who I've got right this time at mid-wicket, and they get a single.
Yeah, but big game coming up for us this weekend. We get to play a double-header with the Yorkshire Vikings. They're always exciting. Hopefully get a crowd in similar to this again on Sunday, and get in early to watch us at 11.
And guess what?
What?
I'm going to be commentating on you playing.
Oh no.
Yes. So you better be good, because you're not going to be able to forget that for the rest of this season.
Levitt gets rested for Sunday. The headline's getting there now.
Here's Brown. It's short. That's a lovely, lovely uppercut there by Harry Brook. What a player this lad is. It's just a joy to watch him play. Whichever form of the game you're watching him in, he got a bit of room to work with, and he's just got so much time. And he's just levered that straight over third man for 6.
Yeah, even with the fielder down there at third man, it was never really in danger. It's just so well guided. He can even middle it when he's trying to lift it over the slip region. But like you said, it's an absolute joy to watch, and I think the Yorkshire fans will know that we won't get to watch him all that often anymore in a Yorkshire shirt. But make the most of it whilst we can.
So we have 14 gone, and the Vikings 129 for 3 with 16 from that over, including that spectacular half dozen from Harry Brook at the back end of it. So 44 needed off 36. And from the Howard stand end, Dylan Pennington back into the attack. Oh, lovely shot this time by Joe Root. It's full, it's wide of off stump, and he's just used the angle of the bat to run it wide of the keeper and inside short third man for 4 more. Beautiful shot.
I was just thinking, it's not often Root's getting utterly overshadowed at the crease, but he's joining in Brook now, making it look ever so easy. These two together just seem to be playing a different game to everyone else. They're fine in the middle no matter where they're playing, and Worcester aren't bowling all that bad, but these two play 360 and they're making it very difficult for the bowlers. They're making them have to think and change their lines and lengths, and that's the signs of 2 truly world-class batters.
So Root on 20. Pennington in once again, and this time Root just pushing forward with an open face, and that's another lovely shot by Joe Root. Libby, I think it was, trying to put in a diving stop, but he can't get there, and he absolutely pinged that out of the middle of the bat once again. So 2 delightful strokes of different kinds by Root to get this over underway, and 36 now needed off 34.
Yeah, just a joy to watch both of them now, making it look easy to find this boundary. Somehow guided that through the just backward point region, but looked like 4 as soon as he hit it, despite the size of that boundary out there. And not eager with Brook having all the headlines. Root's joining in now.
Didn't have far to go, the fielder, but got nothing on it. Pennington to Root again. Slower ball this time, flicked into the leg side. They're asking for a second here. Root always keen for these sort of things. We've seen 1 or 2 run-out mix-ups over the years. But Harry Brook values his wicket too much to accept the invitation for a second.
Yeah, doesn't need to get Root on strike, which isn't said all that often.
Partnerships, they talk about them. It's all about building partnerships. 24 balls is all it's taken here for him to put 50 on together for this 4th wicket. Great stuff from Brook and Root, and it's Brook on strike, and he's driven this one through extra cover. Diving attempt is missed. Second dive will reel the ball in a few metres from the boundary rope, but they're back for a comfortable 2.
Yeah, just making it look really easy now, these two. They're finding the middle every time. And they're finding runs all around the ground. They're really making Worcester lads have to think about it now. Required rates dropped down to 6.19. And Yorkshire are firmly in the driving seat.
Pennington gone for 38 so far. He's got 2 left in his 3rd over, and he's bowling this one to Brook, who's cut that very fine, but he couldn't get it past short 3rd man, who was Josh Baker doing the fielding. 140 for 3 it remains. 5 overs and 1 ball remaining. 33 needed off 31 deliveries. Pennington turns, running towards our commentary position under the Headingley floodlights. And it's a full-length delivery. Nicely bowled, and also nicely played by Brook, who's got it out to long on for a single. 37 to Harry Brook. 141 for 3 at the end of the 15th.
Yeah, it's a real joy to watch at the moment, these two going about it together. We said this would be such an important partnership for Yorkshire. They've got a world-class batting line-up all the way down pretty much to Harris Ralph, but they're making it look easy, and hopefully no further batters will be required. At the moment, just not making Worcester like a wicket-taking threat.
So, over number 16 to come. They're exactly the same score and number of wickets down as Worcester were at the same stage. 141 for 3, both sides at the 3/4 mark in their respective innings. Yorkshire, of course, know what they're chasing, and they pulled it back superbly in the final few overs. Ed Barnard back into the attack for this 16th, then to complete his 4 overs. He's going at 10.7 per over when he bowls this over, although he's bowled over number 16 in 1 match. So he went for 10.7. First ball was quite a good one, and then in that respect, because it was a dot. Harry Brook trying to get it away to the leg side and missing out. And he turns again, does Barnard. Right arm over the wicket, it's gone short of length, banged it into the pitch. Sort of slow bouncer in effect, although it didn't get up high enough to really be called a bouncer. Brook gets it away into the covers for 1. 38 off 18 for Harry Brook. He's only been out there 20 minutes. 2 sixes and 3 fours. Root, 28 minutes since he walked out to the middle. 25 off 16, including 3 fours. He's on strike then at 142 for 3. As Barnard has got this one wrong down the leg side and is running back to his mark. Wide ball. They're pretty much going to be bowling an extra over here, aren't they? Because that's 6 wides now, yeah, exactly an extra over. T21 for Worcestershire in the field here. Barnard in. Slower ball again. Nicely played by Root into the leg side. He's gone through quickly for the 1, but Brett D'Oliveira has come in off the boundary to do the fielding.
Hey, D'Oliveira.
Yeah. Dolly came in off the boundary and did the fielding. 29 off 27 needed. Short fine leg gets sent out the distance, and they're going to bring up the man into the covers, so the entire leg side set back in the deep. And he's gone leg side and it's flicked. Oh, it's a lovely shot. And again, Harry Brook, how good is he? 4 men set back on the leg side, and he's looked at that. He knows exactly where they're positioned, and somehow that's just brilliant. How has he managed to pick that gap so well in that split second that he had from the ball pitching? It's almost as if Ed Barnard bowled that exactly where he wanted it, and 4 runs takes him on to 42, and Yorkshire to 148 for 3.
Yeah, 2 deep fielders just either side of that 4, but either had absolutely no chance of getting to it and didn't even bother trying to get to it. I think Barnard's line just strayed a bit too far down leg side, and you can't afford that when there's a batter in form like Brook.
42 off 19. Oh dear me, it's just beyond a joke, isn't it, how good he is? And that's 6 more to Harry Brook. Barnard not entirely sure what to do, drops it short into the pitch again. Brook steps away and just treated that with disdain through extra cover for 6.
Where do you bowl to someone who can hit a flat 6 off one leg over extra cover? You feel for the Worcester bowlers here. He's just a man in absolute form at the moment, and he can do no wrong, and it's a joy to watch as a Yorkshire fan.
And they've turned it round now, exactly an over in front of where Worcester got to their 150. Barnard goes full on leg stump this time, and again Harry Brook's got so much time, he pushes it up straight past the bowler for another one. 49 to him and 155 for 3 at the end of the 16th.
Yeah, Brook looked to come back for 2 there, and Root sent him back and said absolutely no, I'll watch you do this from the other end. Brook really is in such magnificent form at the moment. He's making it look so easy, and Yorkshire now just require 18 more runs from 4 overs, which you like to think if these two stay together it won't take all that long to do.
No, they want to win first and foremost, of course they do. Other things to take into equation, of course, things like net run rate in the end, so the quicker they can finish it, then the more beneficial that will be perhaps as this competition unfolds. It's been a good start. They haven't quite finished the job just yet. Ed Barnard finished with 4 overs, no maidens, 1 for 38, and Charlie Morris is back into the attack for over number 17 at the Howard stand end. 2 overs, 1 for 12 so far for him. He's going to be bowling to a young fella by the name of Harry Brook. In he comes then, and Brook swats it away into the offside, and well, he is human after all, because he hit the fielder this time.
And you really have to feel for Morris there. He's done exactly what was asked of him, and he's managed to somehow find a false shot from Brook, who's just slapped it straight to the in-close extra fielder, who looks to the sky. You can't believe he's put that one down, and I'm sure he'll live to regret that.
So Brook dropped on 49, can't believe that was maybe a way back in for the Rapids. Can't remember him giving many, if any, chances this year, Harry Brook. In any of the innings he's played, he's been, well, barring the ones he's been out to for obvious reasons, but it's not been a procession of that, and he's got an open face contact on this one out to backward of point, and that brings up his half century. It is his 5th 50 in T20 cricket to go with a century that he's already got on the board, and this man is just a sensation, and he's done that in 23 deliveries, 24 minutes, including 3 sixes and 4 fours, and you're running out of superlatives.
Yeah, I need to bring a thesaurus with me. I think the next time we watch Harry Brook bat, just makes it look absolutely effortless, and the Yorkshire crowd are very appreciative of his 50 there. And
Root facing now, just opens the face and runs it down through third man for an easy single. He's on 27, and he's clearly playing the anchor role once again, as he so often does for Yorkshire. 157 for the loss of 3. 1 for 14 for Morris, and the man of the moment back on strike. Harry Brook waits, drives this one straight back past the ball. That's going to hurt the umpire. That struck him on the right leg as it went through. It was surely destined to be a boundary, and he's taken the full brunt of that. And Harry Brook will be just asking him, what the heck was that all about? Surely you need to have better reactions than that to get out of the way of my boundary shots. So that's going to
got a moan of disdain from the crowd there for stopping that, but I feel for the umpire, he'll be giving that one a rub later on.
Just tempers the Brooks strike rate slightly, 51 off 24, and it's Root on strike. This one out of the back of the hand by the looks of things by Morris. Not a bad delivery. Yorkshire have got time here to knock these off now. Still got 19 deliveries to get a further 15 runs, so plenty of time.
Yeah, Morris has bowled well. You feel they'll want to see him off and then get to face the shorter boundary on the offside. They've both been able to hit so easily.
So here is Morris, full, and again, lovely lay of the bat on that by Joe Root, down to third man for one.
It's a great over from Morris. He's unlucky not to pick up the wicket of Brook, the all-important wicket that could have maybe just swung the game in another direction, but at the moment you do feel like it's just slowly going Yorkshire's way with only 14 more runs required and 3 overs to go. So we have our first Sweet Caroline of the season.
Yeah, well, things were getting a bit quiet when it looked like they tipped the scales in their favour, so if in doubt, I understand it's going to be the Jubilee song, is that right?
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
The Queen a big fan?
As if you'd not heard it enough over the last
As sung
decade
by,
or so around sports stadia.
as sung by Bumble, I'm sure, the official Jubilee song.
14 needed of 3 overs, and to bowl over number 18 with number 36 on his back is Pat Brown. Brown so far has gone for 25 off his 2 without taking a wicket. He's coming right arm round the wicket from the Kirkstall lane end, and Joe Root trying to loft that away through the offside Harry Brooks style. Maybe Harry might wander down and just give him a little tip about how to play that one, because he missed it.
Yeah, right idea. They've got all the leg side boundary fielders out. It's that shorter boundary on the offside from this end. They'll be looking to go up and over extra, pierce that gap. And with Brown in the previous over coming around the wicket, he kept veering down the leg side, so they've eyed up the opportunity for a freebie outside off.
Brown then in again. Joe Root has flipped himself around, and he's got that away very fine with a little pull shot for 4, a reverse pull.
Yeah, it can be a cruel game, cricket. It was pretty much a carbon copy of the ball before, which saw him entice a big swing and a miss from Root, but when you've got a player that's as quality as Root, he can flip himself around and just reverse paddle that into the gap for 4.
So 163 for 3, 10 needed to win. Pat Brown has taken 10 wickets when bowling over number 18 in the past, but he has gone for 10.2 and over. And if he does again here, that's pretty much job done with a couple of overs to spare.
Thinking about a field change with just 10 required, but nope, they're going to leave every possible boundary option out.
So Brown in again. It's full. Root works it into the leg side. It'll pick up 1. Fired back in for just that. So 33 to him in 23, including 4 fours. And Brook 51 from 24 will be back on strike. We've seen him come up with a couple of spectacular finishes in the last few years. Harry Brook, I seem to remember him hitting something like 3 sixes or 2 4s and a 6 or something like that to win one last year. I wish I could remember these things precisely. And he's certainly hit a 4 here. It's a full toss by Pat Brown, and he's just walloped that away wide of long off for 4.
You can't give a player like Harry Brook at the moment absolutely anything, and a low full toss outside off stump's an absolute gimme, and he's lucky in the end it's only gone for 4, because that could have so easily been lofted into the stands like we've seen a couple today, but brings it down to just 5 required for Yorkshire, and you'll be thinking, Harry will be certainly thinking, can he finish it this over?
Here's Brown then, and Brook, well, he's not going to finish it with this delivery. It's up to long on where D'Oliveira fields, and they get a single. 56 to Harry Brook, could be the last he sees of it. Root on strike, they need 4 to win. The other game taking place tonight, by the way, is not in this group, it's in the South group. Kent made 162 for 6, Somerset 55 for 2, needing 108 off 72. So, with 2 down, it's not going to be an easy task against last year's champions. Here's Brown, full toss again to Root, who diverts it down wide of fine leg. They're going to get back for a second here, reducing the runs required off 12 deliveries to just 2, because that was another productive over for Yorkshire. 12 from it, 171 for 3.
Yeah, lucky not to have it finished on his over there, Brown, with another full toss that Root managed to just find the fine leg fielder, but victory looking almost inevitable now for Yorkshire. Just 2 required, with 2 overs to come. And you feel for whichever bowler is going to get thrown the ball now that it's up to him to try and not make it happen.
Yeah, hiding to nothing job, isn't it, at the moment? 2 to win. And who are they going to ask to try and do something sensational? Because somewhere around the world there will have been a game where a team needed 2 to win off 12 balls with 7 wickets in hand and didn't manage it.
Probably been involved in it, to be fair.
Well, there it is. It's all done and dusted. The first ball of Charlie Morris is over, the penultimate over of the evening. And so, in 18 overs and 1 ball, Yorkshire have knocked off the 173 and a little bit more in the end to open their account for 2022 with, well, a hard-earned but thoroughly deserved success, Katie Levick.
Yeah, they made it difficult for themselves in those middle overs when we lost the 2 set batters at Milan and Lythe, but then, like we said, that all-important partnership of Brook and Root, and they just made it look so easy, and they show why they're both being called up for international honours, and you hope that we don't see that much more of them anymore, to be honest, in the Yorkshire, because they just make it look all so easy, and in the end, an effortless win for Yorkshire, seeing it home, just 3 wickets down.
So Joe Root finishes 35 not out from 24 deliveries faced, and Harry Brook, as I said a few moments ago, you run out of superlatives. 60 off 27, almost, dare I say it, making his captain and former England skipper Joe Root look pedestrian by comparison. It doesn't matter, does it? It's all about doing the job together at the end of the day, and they came together when the score was on 88. And they finish with the score on 175 for 3. So points into the bargain, win points for Yorkshire. They'll clearly, obviously, go top of the group. It was the only game to have been played so far. But more importantly, or as important in a sense, is that the fact they knocked them off with 11 balls to spare. So net run rate is good. Points for improvement from the performance tonight?
I think they certainly need to look at that power play from a bowling perspective. I think we were a bit just too lax in our changes, and we got a good first over out of Bess, and then we missed it again and it didn't quite come off. We kept Harris on for a couple of overs. I think maybe looked to chop and change a bit more because Worcester did get on top, but credit to the bowlers, they fought back, they came back well, and they restricted it to a total way. It looked like 180 was going to be the absolute minimum at one stage, and in the end only had to chase down 173, and from the batting perspective, there's not really much you can say about that. It was a job very well done. I think Yorkshire fans of old will have been slightly worried when we were 80 odd for 3, and they thought we've seen this story before from Yorkshire where it's just a crumble, but we've just got quality all the way down the batting lineup, and they just saw it home with ease today.
So Adam Lythe caught Roderick, bowled Barnard for 40. David Milan caught Barnard, bowled Morris for 33. Tom Kohler, Cadmore bowled D'Oliveira 1. Root not out 35. Brook not out 60. 6 extras, 175 for 3 in 18.1 overs. Yorkshire win it by 7 wickets. The Worcestershire Rapids bowling figures. Brett D'Oliveira 3 overs, no maidens, 1 for 18. Dylan Pennington 3 overs for 39. Josh Baker 2 overs for 23. Charlie Morris, he bowled that last ball as it turned out to be of the match, so 3.1 overs, no maidens, 1 for 20. Pat Brown 3 overs for 37. And Ed Barnard 4 overs, no maidens, 1 for 38. It's been a tremendous start to the competition by a strong-looking Yorkshire side, and they would like to go through this first week at the very least with 3 wins on the board. They're over at Old Trafford on Friday. Lancashire Lev, always a strong side. that when you think that Yorkshire have played 3 spinners tonight, and we know the reputation for that surface at Old Trafford, you've got to give them, got to say that they can go there with a good degree of optimism.
Yeah, I think they've not come out the better side in the last few years of that fixture, but like you said, we're going in with 3 out-and-out spin options, but then you've also got Root, and you've even got Milan that you could chuck it to as well to really try and play them at their own game and death by spin. I think Yorkshire will be really excited to get that fixture so early on in the scorecard, coming off the back of a victory, and with the players they've got at the disposal, it's a key moment for them in this season, and they'll be hoping to try and get one over of the old enemy in their backyard.
So that game is on Friday evening at Old Trafford. I shall be over there joining the Thunder coach Paul Shaw to bring that one ball by ball to you on the BBC Sport website and app. But from tonight here at Headingley, Lev, thanks very much once again.
Thanks for having me, and be kind to me when you're commentating on our game on Sunday, please.
I look forward to it. And Lev will be back for a few more of these T20 matches as well for us throughout this Vitality Blast of 2022. But for tonight, great start for Yorkshire then. They've won it here at Headingley by 7 wickets. Good night from Lev and myself, Jonathan Doidge, and we'll see you on Friday.